All right, y'all. Take a moment. Share the broadcast. I don't know why it seems so dark. Oops, sorry. It seems so dark. All right, take a moment. Share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Did I lose some light? All right, let's get it cracking. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more backwards thinking. Time for thinking ahead. The world's changed so very much from what it used to be. Oh, wake up all the teachers. Time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say. They're the ones who's coming up, and the world is in their hands. When you teach the children, teach them the very best you can. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it. Just you and me. Make the old people well. They're the ones who suffer and who catch all the hell. They don't have so very long before that judgment day. Won't you make them happy before they pass away? Wake up all the builders, trying to build a new man. Oh, well, we could do it if we're all in the hand. The only thing we have to do is put it in our mind. Surely things will work out. They do it every time. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. Na 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 na. The Good morning, Chicago. Good morning, world. This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man Charles Thomas in the building. Charles, how you feeling?
Hey, man, he woke me up this morning. I feel great.
Man, it is a great day. You know what? It looks nice outside. It was a good day yesterday, too. The weather was nice and cookery. It was hot. Hot outside, but I'm going to tell you, it makes you appreciate, you know what I'm saying? Summertime shy. You know what I mean? Summertime shy. It is how it goes down. I'm going to tell y'all, I do not believe that there is any city better in the world. You're going to have to prove it to me. You got to show me.
You're going to have to show me, too.
Any other, that because you are from the show me state. Any city that is better than Chicago in the summertime. And it just keeps on getting better and better and better. At least for some of us. Woo! But I'm here to tell you, man, we got a great show. I can't wait to talk about it all. Man, I can't wait to talk about this new Green Line stop that is coming to Chicago. Man, you see the mayor, he said he dropped the bomb and then jumped on the plane and got up out of here, boy. Flew like a, what? You know what? Like a, I can't even think of it. Like a hot tin cat on a roof. What? How does it go? A roof on a hot tin cat?
He definitely, he played it. He played it very well over the weekend.
Man.
Got out clean.
Got out clean.
Left the governor holding the bag.
Yep, you see what? Well, lack of the bag. But you check it out. Man, check out that story by Kristen McQuarrie in the Chicago Tribune.
She listens to the WVON morning.
You know what? I think she does that. I think she reads that. You know what? But actually, Kristen has been very on top of her relationships in the black community here now lately. And she's been getting a real pulse. Real sense of what's going on, and I'm glad to see it coming out. Hey, y'all, it's the WVON Morning Show. Gotta say what's up to the Morning Show team. What's up, Miss Annette Flournoy? Annette, can I tell you, I re-listened to your broadcast. Mwah! Mwah! I just must commend you on, you know what I felt like when I heard that? I felt like what it must be like to be on 60 Minutes from a black perspective. Because I felt like I was right there in the midst. You had the crowd sounds, the whole thing going on. I want to commend you for going out there yesterday. Next time, could you call me? So maybe they'll let me through the police line. You know what? I was out there peeping from the side. But speaking of missing, or you felt a vibe, Annette, what's up with Kidnapped? Cause we're gonna talk offline. Cause good Lord, Annette, has Kidnapped found its home? He asked for a drawer. Nah, you ain't. Cookout? Uh-huh. Did you call and check in? Did you? Look at you. You was like, you know what? Seeing that's what I love about you. Cause see, I feel like you like one of them people that just, you know what? You just gonna you got that. I feel that about you. I feel right as he getting the Jordan. Now that's true. I was gonna say I kind of something like that. I learned that lesson with a few whoopings or two, but I got it. I found it. You ain't found nothing in my house. All right, gotta say what's up to y'all. We gotta get this plane off the ground, and if we gonna get this plane off the ground, gotta say what's up to the musical conductor of the soul plane, Miss Sonia Escobar. Sonia, how you feeling today? Hey. It is so much. You know what? I'm feeling real good. I am feeling energized. Charles, I'm ready to rock and roll. Hey, man. Supreme Court pick.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, Brett Kavanaugh. That means that the woman from Chicago, I mean, she was not chosen. Amy Coney Barrett?
Mm-hmm. You know what? I knew she wasn't getting picked yesterday because she was around the crib, right?
Oh, she was at the crib.
She was at the crib. And so, you know how the watchers put all the pieces together. So when you watching the news, they was like, she's still in Indiana, in South Bend, which means if she ain't going to if she was going to a press conference, she would have been gone by now.
Yeah, that's one way to, process of elimination. If you're not there, then you're not there. Yeah, but this guy that I think he chose, I think he's going to be confirmed. I think all this drama we hear about Roe versus Wade and whether or not he can be stopped. Now, I think Trump's going to get his appointee. At the same time Trump is appointing Supreme Court justices, you hear a lot of Democrats still talk about Trump being caught up in this Mueller investigation. Trump may be impeached. Can you imagine who the Supreme Court nominees might be if Mike Pence was elevated to the presidency?
Man.
Whoa, man. I mean, be careful what you wish for. I mean, when people start talking about impeaching Donald Trump and getting rid of him, I mean, Mike Pence is even more of an ideologue, conservative ideologue than Donald Trump could. Donald Trump is a late comer to the game. Mike Pence has been there a while.
Yeah, Charles, I was going to ask today, the pick didn't seem as bombastic as people, he seemed kind of like a safe pick, for the choices that were there. I'm not a Supreme Court expert, so I'm gonna ask you.
Well, the thing about him, his tenure on the court, it's been fairly, clean, if you will. I mean, he doesn't have any really outrageous decisions that he's weighed in on. But before he got on the bench as a judge, he was a political operative for the Republicans. And that's the stuff that they're going to come at him with. He was like in the Clinton...
so he was on Ken Starr. He was in the Ken Starr investigation. So he started out prosecuting presidents, and then he flipped when it was George Bush.
But he was also a political operative in the
Hanging Shads.
Yes. This guy's been around the game for a minute, even though he's a young guy. He's been around for the last 25 years, and it's those years before he ascended to the circuit, what is the Court of Appeals. Those are the period, that's the period that the Democrats are going to focus, saying he's a political guy.
You know, I was thinking, Charles, that when I was looking at it, that it was a Reagan reunion. When I heard names like Edwin Meese, I was like, man, they was crippling, criming up. They was like, we waited it out, but we finally got our man. They was like, we are back, y'all. Like the Reagan era Republicans were packed in the room. And I guess, Charles, my question in this whole thing is, when I was saying he's not so bombastic of a pick, not because I'm not so much political, but it felt like Trump was settling into an established, like sending the establishment old Republicans a piece of meat.
Man, I kept scanning that room looking for black folks.
Why? Why?
Because I just had to see somebody.
Why? No, because if you would have seen them in there, then they would have called him a sellout anyway, right?
But I didn't see him. I mean, it was like going back 35 years into the Reagan administration.
35? I think you might have had to go back. I think Reagan didn't have nobody black. Look.
Yeah, many, man.
Hey, shoot.
Many that I can remember.
All right, well, look, we're on the top of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson, Charles Thomas. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Tamiko, I forgot yesterday because I got 5 new teeth put in. Not new teeth, but I had a whole mouthful of action yesterday. I got you when I get off air today. I will do my due diligence. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody is having a great day. I'm looking forward to an action-packed day. Hope you all will check out the article that I posted on my Facebook.
All Tech Lansing. Restaurant and many more. Last year, dining.
Check out Kristen McQuarrie's take on the Dan Ryan shutdown. Seems like she kind of got it right. I guess my question would be, you gotta ask, man, y'all still sharing that Father Flagrant post? I just need to say, though, I put it in writing how it was going down. That's what the good time and date stamp is. The truth be verifiable. I look forward to the continued conversation. What is going on with the lighting? It feels so dark. I need a shadow. Give me the light. Are y'all coming to Taste of WVON? All right, take a moment. Share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Share the broadcast. Who is Mac Julian? Mac Julian, I don't know you, but didn't come for Father Flagrant. He's the king of the city, man. What are you talking about? Better stop that. Oh yeah, I got the what's ups. Being no. Feel like I feel. Tell me what can I do? But I gotta be strong. You did me wrong. I thought we were down. Now you say you want me, girl. Well, make up your mind, cause I'm not gonna be here for long. You are my loving baby. You got me twisted. Oh, you got me twisted. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my man, Charles Thomas. Hey, man. Charles, you know what? Have you seen... the man tried to get up out of here, but did you see before he got on the plane, Gary McCarthy took a couple shots at him before he got out of here?
Yeah, Gary McCarthy took a couple of shots at him. And then Fran Spielman, the lead dog of the city press corps at City Hall, she took a shot at him, repeating this internal poll from Lori Lightfoot's campaign that said, essentially confirmed or said again that, or suggested again, that he was unelectable.
Man, you know what? And it confirms a poll that Gary McCarthy had released earlier, or so we say. Now, Emmanuel immediately shot back and said that obviously, because now this poll, apparently according to the paper, this poll was released when Lori Lightfoot got into the race. In April.
It was done, yeah.
But she's just now releasing the results. And Emmanuel said, who sends out month-old poll results?
But listen, to me, I can't understand how the Sun-Times can report an internal poll, particularly one that's nearly 3 months old, and they dropped it while the mayor was out of the country. Now, come on, man. And then the poll that they dropped, it had, I think, Rahm at 31%, McCarthy at 16%, Dorothy Brown 15%, Ballas 9%, Lori 2 to 3%. Did not mention Willie Wilson or Troy LaRaviere. I don't. What kind of newspaper does that? I mean, drops an internal poll.
Man, well, did they poll those people?
Huh?
Did they poll those people?
Probably not, and that's why internal polls are suspect.
Okay, got it. So I think that this, now what you really need to do is do the poll, compare that poll to this weekend. Because, the mayor came back this weekend. Yeah. He came back, I'm telling you. The mayor came back this weekend. Did y'all see did you see that article in Kristen McQuarrie?
Yeah, she basically said what we said.
Man.
The same analysis politically. On the politic tip.
Right, you can't challenge. Hey man, I just need to say for the record, for all these people that are coming at me, I said that Father Flager is the new, I'm giving him his props. Like, he is, no, I mean this. I mean this, and I can't wait. Y'all, Amara Inya's coming in, and so that's going to add a very interesting dynamic to this conversation. But I do believe right now that Father Flager is the most influential person in the black community. I challenge you to tell me who is it, who can beat him.
Maze, I'm not going to challenge you. I ain't taking that challenge because I think right now you're right. You're right, but I think that could change quickly if somebody steps up.
Nah, man. Let me tell you what. Me and Insane Wayne was having a conversation this morning, and Wayne was telling me about being down at the march, and then when we finally got down and boiled it down and he realized that he and the mayor was on the same side, he was all twisted up. Like, wait a minute!
How did this happen?
So I can't wait to talk to Amar Inya, because we're going to break that whole thing down. But I'm telling y'all, I want to be clear. I'm not being funny when I say, the king part, that's me being silly. But as it relates to being the most influential person in the black community, black folks, Father Flager has earned it. We have earned it.
But you know, I got into it yesterday with a very good friend of mine, and he was suggesting that Father Flaker is some kind of political operative for the Democratic Party masquerading in a priest collar. And no. I think he's a priest first. He's a priest first. He's a man of God. But he knows how to work the system, and he's working it.
Hey, y'all, this is Chicago. And I think if you continue to ignore the relationship of politics to everything, then you are being what did Malcolm X call us? Political chumps. Is that what he said? I am not in any way denigrating the spirituality and the relationship that Father Flaker has with the Lord.
Good.
I don't want anybody to confuse that, because I do believe that he has a mission and his works show. But I also know that in this city, if you want to be able to work, you got to do your politics right. And I'm just saying, man, the mayor, y'all was marching with the mayor. That's influential. Look, Charles, check out, did you see, did you hear this story? You know, we talk about the lowest unemployment in the country, right? Except for Illinois with Trump, in this Trump economy. You know, one of the least reported stories in America right now came out Friday.
What's that?
That the Hispanic/Latino unemployment is the lowest since it's ever been recorded in the United States.
Yeah, Trump juiced the economy with this tax cut, and it is on fire.
But Charles, how come nobody, think about this, with everything that Trump is saying and doing around the world with the ICE and the wall building and the rhetoric, and particularly aimed even the kids coming across the border. Charles, the Latino unemployment is the lowest ever in the United States, and nobody's talking about it.
Well, the black employment is the lowest ever in the United States, according to those same set of statistics.
Yeah, but we don't see it.
Unemployment, is low.
Well,
everybody's unemployment is low because he has juiced the economy with that tax cut, and the Democrats are saying we're going to have to pay the piper down the road. That yet to be seen. Right now, the economy's booming.
Charles, so see, I feel like, are we not supposed to do better? Like, are black people supposed to be like, you know what? Let me ask you. Are we not supposed to do better? Are we supposed to self-righteously starve ourselves so in deference to the great party that ain't got nothing for us?
What did Pretty Tony say 45 years
That's your movie, man. I saw the new version.
Keep them broke, baby. I mean, there's a political class in this country that wants to keep us broke.
Charles,
they do, because that's how they get us worked up to go vote for them.
Because you know what, Charles? And you know what? I was starting to think about this, man. I think, and for the people that are in control of the debate, no matter how it works out, they don't lose. Like, if you are in Congress or you are a senator and you are voting on all these policies, you don't really have to suffer from them because you're going to be able to make the money one way or the other. So you don't even understand. Charles, I don't know how they have convinced us to starve ourselves. Now, I understand when they got a gun and a bullet. But when they got you marching to your own demise, when you walk into the gas chamber, not when they got a gun forcing you, but you like, we is going to self-righteously starve and we is not going to participate. Even as the people that you are standing in line for crying at the border, that you don't hear no Latinos like that crying at the border because they busy making money and going to work. Look, it's the WVON Morning Show. We got more to talk about when we come back. It's Talk Chicago. My coffee is kicking in. It's going to be one of them days, y'all.
Keep some broke, baby.
Take a moment, share the broadcast.
Wow.
Take a moment, share the broadcast. Who's out here rocking with me this morning? Y'all ready? What up, Reese Moe? What up, Carlton Brown? What up, Darlene? What up, Mike Brown? What up, Tiger Lily? What up, Patah? What up, Alvin Norton? What up, Brian Hudson? What up, Ron Lewis? What up, Christian Pollard? What up, Tiger Lily? What up, Mike Brown? What up, Carlton Brown? What up, Michael Bullock? Ron Lewis? What up, Double J? I'll see you tonight, but I'm gonna be running a little late. Daughter got a scholarship, gotta go pick it up. We'll be there though. What up, Sharita M? What up, Jerry Gibson? What up, Tamiko? What up, Rod Crowder? What up, Quasi Moa? What up, Arlene Jones? What up, John Rimbert? What up, Erica Swain? Any of y'all catch me last night on the Joe Walsh show? Did you catch any of my live? I don't know what was going on with my Wi-Fi last night. My Wi-Fi is usually pretty reliable. Hey, y'all, we got Mara Onion coming in. We're going to talk about the new Kang. What up, Henry Hartsfeld? What up? Rick Good? Shout out. Hey, Rick, you hear she been knocking it out with the Tuskegee Airmen? You ain't been checking that out, have you? See that? What up? Howard Trout. Nicole Rogers. Good morning. Top of the day to you. Brother Edward. Sister Carol. Yolan, how are you this morning? What up, Jenya Harley? Jacqueline Sparks. How are you this morning? Top of the morning to you. Brother Ian J. Leveson. Ron Lewis, how are you, my brother? Okay, Melvin Griffin, Kimberly Patton, Dennis Evans, and Sonia Escobar. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning. What's up, David Barham? How you feeling all the way from Davenport, Iowa, boy? How you doing? What up, hey, y'all? I feel like I got to get my roar back. Y'all take a moment, shut the broadcast. Let's get this thing going in the morning. How y'all feeling? What y'all talking about in the den? Y'all having a conversation in the den? You know. You know. Don't you know? Take a moment, share the broadcast. Move your... Hey, y'all. Check out the Kristen McQuarrie story.
Wvon, traffic and weather now.
Good morning, top of the morning to you. Hey, y'all, I'm going to be dragging a little bit tomorrow. Dad, I got to start checking out the Maze Jackson page. I didn't know y'all be posting stuff on there. Oh, duh, I'm on the wrong thing. I'm in the sorriest McDonald's on earth. What the hell? Patah, you... Oh, my God. What have I just seen? You are tuned into the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man Charles Thomas in the building. And Charles, you know how we do every day around the 6:30 break. It's the social media question of the day. Man, Charles, so I was reading the tragic story of 3-year-old Wvon Jones, who died in an apartment fire. Apparently, Charles, somebody was home, sleep on the couch and ran out. But essentially, the story was that the child was left home alone. Now, 3 years old, leaving a child home alone, unattended, that's just unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
I can't condone that. But Charles, got me to thinking back to when I was growing up. Now, maybe it was a different time. But I can distinctly remember, Charles, in 3rd grade, coming home alone. I can distinctly remember in 3rd grade, walking home with a group of friends. We would leave school together, and all of us would walk home in a pack. And as we walked home in a pack, everybody would drop off as they got to their house, and I usually had the last house.
And were you living in Bolingbrook at the time?
I was living in Bolingbrook at the time. And I had what we call, and all of us had a key around our neck or a key pinned into our pocket. And we got home, we put the key in the door, we turned it, we locked it. We came in the house, we locked the door. First thing you did was call your mom. Say, Mom, I'm home. Check in. Your mom would tell you what you got to do. Then you call your dad and say, hey, Dad, I'm home, blah, blah, blah. And he would be like, get your chores done. And boy, don't you, boy, and you better. And if you don't have it, then. And then after that, I wasn't allowed to watch TV. So, because, but I distinctly remember that. And I remember that in 3rd grade. Now I'm going to tell you, I probably, when I lived in the city, though, in 2nd, there were probably sometimes 2nd and 1st grade when I was home alone. Yeah, without a doubt. I could go to the store by myself at 5. People used to be like, oh my God, Sister Jackson, Mason is 5 years old and he's walking down 63rd. And I knew everybody on the way to the thing, so I stopped to say hello to everybody, and it was all good. And they would be like, there goes that Mason. But Charles.
Was any drug dealers out on your block?
Yeah.
They were on the block and you were walking?
Not like that. No, but the Blackstones was there. Right? Like, it was gangs. It was street. I mean, this was during the time. It was activity. Mm-hmm. But I knew them. And they knew my mama. And they protected the neighborhood. So they would be like, there go Lil Mason. Get your butt, boy.
Was there a lot of shooting in your neighborhood?
No. But I would even challenge you even today in the suburbs. I don't think that... I wonder now, what is the age that you can leave a child home alone? And maybe there's a difference between suburbs and a city. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
But even I think about now, parenting now, if you were to suggest that you were to leave a child home in third grade, city or suburbs, some parents would be like, oh my word?
It depends on the neighborhood. It depends on the neighborhood and the parent. And because we have 2 parents working in most households these days, it depends, I think, on the neighborhood that the parent has to make the judgment. 3 is way too young. That's way too young. But I think moving forward, it's got to depend on the neighborhood and whether or not there's a sense of community in those neighborhoods where if there are some adults there, that they are taking care of the shorties. Like you even mentioned that it was Blackstones on your block when you were living in the city that were basically looking out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
They looked out for me and my mama.
So
and the Panthers.
It's like, I think it depends on the neighborhood, how young that child can be. And man, because I mean, one thing that, there's some tremendous blocks on the south side of Chicago. I mean, man, people take care of business on those blocks. They take care of each other. And same on the west side. And, we start lumping people together. But there are blocks out there, man, that are phenomenal. Much better than you could find in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? And I think a parent has to navigate it on their own. I don't think there's any hard, fast rule after a limit. You know what I mean? I mean, that child has to know their phone number. They have to be able to know where the support system is, certainly. But 3 is way too young. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I definitely think 3 is young. Charles, I think, I don't know if you can, I don't know if I necessarily agree with it depends on the neighborhood. I don't think it depends on the neighborhood. I think it depends on the necessity, right? I don't think that if you live in a challenging neighborhood, I don't know if the parents still, if 2 parents have to go to work, I don't think they say and their choice is childcare. I don't think they say, well, because of our neighborhood, we're not going to leave you home alone. I think the parent says, I got to teach you how to navigate this neighborhood so you get home because I still got to go to work. And so I don't know, even in the sense of community, if there is, in the absence of a sense of community, I don't necessarily think it's just the sense of community. I think most parents, if they had an option financially, would probably give their kids somebody to stay home. I don't think my parents were like, stay home alone because we live in the suburbs. I think they were like, you got to stay home alone because we can't afford to pay somebody $400 a month to watch you.
Oh, that's absolutely the case.
And so
That's absolutely the case. But I mean, I think at some point, parent has to understand if you got shooting in your neighborhood and you got a 7-year, 8-year-old, you have to do what you have to do to protect the child. You just have to. And you know what they're doing outside. I mean, you know what they're doing outside. And you have to just basically protect your child.
So, you know what? So, WVON listeners, give us a call, 773-591-1690. I'm going to tell you, I don't, I think you do what you can do best to protect your child. But the fact of the matter is, your child could be shot with you in your arms, with you in presence. But I asked the WVON listening audience, because for me, 3rd grade, now I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't leave my son home at 3rd grade, right? Now, but I don't think it has, and I don't think I would leave him home, and I think he lives in a pretty safe neighborhood. Probably one of the safest. But I still wouldn't. So I don't necessarily think it revolves around shooting guys or about violence necessarily. I'm just asking, what is...
Yeah, I think it absolutely revolves around violence. You got violence shooting in your neighborhood, you got to protect your children.
Protecting your children, you take the extra steps, but that doesn't mean you won't leave them home alone. You might say you have to lay on the floor, right? But if mom has to go to work for you to have a place to live, I think we're talking from a position of having the luxury of having the financial wherewithal to do so. Again, I would say that most children being left at home alone are based is not because the parent wants to leave them unsupervised. It is usually a financial choice until such age that you say, now at 12, I'm saying you can stay home alone. But according to the law, you got to be 14. So think about that. So how many of us are breaking the law right now? But I'm asking you right now, regardless of what neighborhood you live in, what age is it okay to leave your children at home? Now, I'm not suggesting that you don't protect them. But again, we saw the story of the young lady who was with her aunt just a couple weeks ago, 12 years old, dropped off coming from a graduation party. She was with her whole family and was shot.
That she wasn't left home alone.
Exactly. So getting shot has nothing to do with you being left home alone.
Right.
Right. So what age is it appropriate for you to leave your children at home alone? Even if you live in the suburbs, if it's a difference between living in the city and the suburbs, I don't know. I think you do as much as you can to protect your kids that you can. But if you don't have the money to put your child in there are children who are riding the CTA in 5th grade. What age is it appropriate for you to leave your children at home? Let's go with Pammy. Pammy on the Talk Chicago.
Amazing, Charles. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. I did not let my son stay at home until he was in high school. And I live in the south suburbs. And what I did was I changed my address to my mother's address. So I would just have to get up in the morning and drive him to school in my mother's area and pick him up, you know. So that's what I did. I did not want to leave my son at home by himself.
Okay. Now, was it because of the violence or because of the responsibility?
Responsibility. You know, I just had to get up early in the morning, get my son, you know, up early, drop him at my mom's house from work, and then there was sometimes I had to work late, and I didn't want my son to be by himself and defend, you know, to cook and stuff like that. So I just had to just make that, you know, that half-hour drive to my mom to drop my son off and pick him up when I get out of, you know, get off work when I can.
Thanks, Pammy. I'm going to tell you, I think that staying home alone taught me my independence. It's where I learned how to cook. Right? Because I was trying to do stuff because I wasn't able to watch TV. Look, we'll talk about it more when we come back. What age is it appropriate for you to leave your children at home alone? It's Talk Chicago 1690.
More of the morning show with Maze.
What's up, y'all? Take a moment, share the broadcast. I was home alone. I got out of school at 2:40. My parents got home at 5:30. So I was home alone that time. In the summertime, I could not go out until I did all my chores. I could go out at no sooner than 10:30 in the morning. I could go and I could play on my block, but I could not go in anybody's house even if my parents knew them. We could play in the front yard, we could play in the backyard. Then as I got older, I was able to go further. In 3rd grade, my parents taught me how to walk to the school, walk back. They watched me do it on my own. They watched me do it back. They made me work my key. And then 3rd grade, both of them went to work. And I think that I think children that are left alone at home, I think they should be able to be left at home alone at a certain age, depending on the responsibility. But I think it's a function of privilege when it's optional. I think if you make $400 a week.
If you pick up here and go to the next paragraph, it explains the law and how Illinois has the toughest law out of all the states. Some states don't even have a minimum age.
Okay.
And it's all right here. These 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
And everything they get there.
So, again, if both parents have to work, so if you make $1,000 a week, which most people don't make, not most people, a lot of people don't make, and you got 2 kids and you got to put them in childcare and it's not subsidized, you're probably paying $300 of that. Yeah? Something like that. Right? So, like, what does a single, or what do 2 working parents who are making $40,000 a year do? Do they put their 10-year-old in daycare every day? Yeah, the people who got money do. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't. part of what I was saying. Like when you got the money to afford it, you can $450, $500 a week. You making your kids stay home. It ain't got nothing to do with your neighborhood. It's not real. Gotta live in reality. You take me away from the things, you keep me paradise. You make $450, $500 a week. You teaching your kid how to get home from school, and they better watch TV and get their homework done. Love will be replied. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, Charles Thomas. Charles, we're asking the question, how old do you have to be to leave your children at home? Now, Todd came in here and brought us the Illinois statute that says any minor under the age of 14 whose parent or other person responsible for the minor's welfare leaves the minor without supervision for an unreasonable period of time without regard for the mental or physical health or safety is considered neglected. That 14?
Yeah, that means that they could take the child into custody, and you would have to fight DCFS, I suppose, to get the child back.
Do you know how many, at 14 years old, do you know how many people would be fighting to get their kids back?
It's a sad state of affairs, you know, in terms of how many kids are left home alone. I understand that.
I'm gonna tell you that, yeah, I think that children are left home alone because
I mean, we have the situation where they let school out at 2:15 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Parents working until 6. There's no coordination. We had my brother in here a few days ago talking about how we let children off for the summer because they're supposed to be going to farm. The whole notion of summer vacation from school came about because this was an agrarian society where people lived on farms. We don't live on farms anymore. So we let kids out in the summer. What are they supposed to do?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I think, like right now, I've been blessed, but it's $250 a week for my kid to go to camp. It's $250 a week, and he only goes till 12.
Really?
Till 12. Now, based on this law, I got issues. So that means I got to find some. Now,
man, whatever you say can be used against you in a court of law.
That's why I got my beautiful, lovely wife, Commissioner Carrie Steele, that's why we got teamwork, make the dream work. But I just think that, man, 3 is definitely too young.
Well, how old are babysitters? Like when you hire a babysitter?
Well, your daughter said she was 12 when she was babysitting.
Right. I mean, I'm thinking about that. If you're a 13-year-old and you're a babysitter, and you're in the house with, say, 3 other younger children, you breaking the law?
Yes.
Wow.
No matter what neighborhood. And I'm saying that I don't know if our social norms are in line with our laws. Let's go to the phone lines. Chris, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690.
Hey, what's up? Hey, I was just like you, Maze, and I live in Roseland, so everyone knows what Rose lives. I was in 2nd grade, catching the bus and walking home a mile.
What kind of parents were yours, though? Do you feel like your parents were good parents? Why would they do that to you?
Because they was at work. They had to pay for the house. They had to pay their mortgage. They had to do what they had to do, so they were great parents.
It's like real life situations, man. It's like you got to teach. So did your parents, did they teach you how to navigate your neighborhood?
They told me which blocks to walk down. They told me they said at certain times walk down this street, get on the bus at this time if you get out of school too late. They told told me exactly what to do. So I just followed the directions. As soon as I got home, I called them. They told me to walk down Halsted instead of walking down Green. They told me to walk down 111 instead of walking down 112. So they told me exactly what to do, when to do it, and I just had to do it. And everything worked out.
And it taught you in some ways or shape or form how to, I think you brought up the point about the city. And I think that you have to learn survival skills for wherever you're at. And the fact that you are a cub in a jungle or a cub in the suburbs, you still got to learn to navigate and survive in your environment. And I think regardless, the parents have to make the decision, if you got to make the decision of do I feed my child or do I pay for a daycare and teach him, boy, you better not plug in that, right? You knew you couldn't start a fire. You couldn't cook nothing on the stove. You might be able to use the microwave. Boy, you better make a cold sandwich. If the phone didn't ring by this time, by my mom's job, then they knew that I went the wrong way. And that was the suburbs. But I think even in the city, when you have the challenges of navigating, surviving, you got to deal with that. Anita, you want to talk Chicago?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, I don't believe in it at all. Because even the older the kids are, they bring their friends over, and then there's problems with that too. It's just a bad situation.
I'm going to tell you, Anita.
It really is.
I feel you, though, because a lot of kids get in trouble. Like the white kids got in trouble because they were staying home, too. That's when they would be sneaking in the bars and sneaking and pouring water in the alcohol and all that stuff, and they was getting drunk. I'm going to tell you, I was too scared of my parents. I was too scared of my parents. And my dad had one of them jobs where he could pop up on you anytime because he was on call. So I wasn't messing around. But I'm going to tell y'all, I think a lot of parents, now I'm going to tell you, I didn't want to leave no kids alone nowadays because they'll be snooping in your stuff. How many of y'all, when you stayed home, did y'all look at y'all parents' drawers? Oh, Sonya, why you making that face? Annette, did you ever stay home alone? Charles, did you ever stay home alone?
No, man, I came up in a different era.
Hey, man, you know what?
We stayed home alone, but believe me, the challenges were not there.
Hey, see, man, Charles, you.
I was never home alone. I'm Mexican.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I think that if you talk to, can I say 60, 70% of black young people who grew up, they probably could tell you some experiences of staying home alone. Annette, I'm just telling y'all, man, it's like real in the field out here. I mean, it's a reality whether you live in the city, the suburbs. Man, childcare ain't cheap. It's the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. When we come back, she's in the building. That's right. It's Amara Enya. Talk of Chicago, 1690. We'll be back after traffic news and the weather.
Chicago and the voice of the nation, 1690 WV.
Goodness.
Sunny and warm in Chicago.
See how they do you?
I'm in Illinois, and breaking this hour, all 12 boys and their coach.
Sheila, you left your son home at 8 years old?
Hear more on
I think that's third grade, right?
Thailand. Correspondent Ivan Watson reports being out of the cave doesn't mean they're out of danger, but those free.
Well, see, I'm saying, think about this. We didn't have no cell phones. There were no cell phones. So you had to be in the spot and your parents knew where you was because of the cell phone. Because of the phone. Go. Do like this. All right. Take a moment, share the broadcast. I'm just saying. I don't be liking to feel like I'm crazy, right? I'm just telling you. It's like, all right, raise your hand if you stayed home alone. What was the earliest age you stayed home alone? I'm saying, I feel like, I'm going to be honest with you. I grew up in Bolingbrook. I don't really know anybody who didn't have two parents. Not anybody. Very few people who didn't have two parents that were working. And didn't nobody have no nannies. Exactly. 3rd or 4th grade. Erica, you were 9. Man, when my parents left, that's how I learned to cook. Was because I was only able to start using the stove after 4th grade. But it was because we had cooking class in school. And the oldest child looked out for everybody else. I just think we got two different realities. Exactly. You knew what you could get away with your parents. Let me tell you. Wasn't nobody coming over my house. Just wasn't happening. Wasn't happening. Did you have bad parents? Denise, you was cooking chicken wings after school. Man, my old man used to be like, you can't watch TV. And then I try and sneak and watch. He'll come and put his hand on the back of the TV and make it hot. I need y'all to continue to get this lesson because I'm not crazy. He tried to play me on that suburb stuff. Twin, did you stay home alone in Bolingbrook? Did you stay home alone in the city? I did. Maybe like for an hour. That's me, Kiana. And then I had Tennille. And then it was like... Right? Yeah, let me tell you, if anybody knocked on... I don't care if it was a fire in the house, I was going to burn down in the house because I wasn't opening that front door. Man, people would knock on the front door. You'll look at that peephole. They knew you was in there. And you'll be like, oh, no, sorry. And there always be the white kids trying to get you to sneak and do something. The white kids used to sneak out. I ain't sneak. Y'all, everybody who know me in Bolingbrook know I ain't go nowhere. I went to church. Kiana, you making me laugh because you making me think of me. I used to be like, I could look out the... Look, my parents used to be like, don't look out the window. Do not let nobody know you even in... It was supposed to be like the house was empty. Right. How many... Did you ever forget your key? The worst was when you forgot your key. Oh my God, I'll be right back. Hey, y'all. Oh, my goodness. Todd, did you ever stay home alone?
Not until I was in high school. Like I was like maybe freshman or sophomore before, but never an extended period of time. if my parents would I couldn't stay at home alone overnight if they went away for the weekend or something. I had to go with my grandma.
Were you in a good neighborhood?
Yeah, suburbia.
There she is.
Yeah, they always send me out to grandma.
Hey now.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yellow must be your color.
It's okay.
I can tell. I can tell. You popped the yellow. I've been noticing you got the yellow pop going on.
It is. It's my favorite color.
How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
All right. I missed y'all last week.
Yeah.
I heard y'all had a long,
Oh man.
extended. Okay, well, you about to get in trouble, Amara. You about to get in trouble. I'm just telling you now. Get ready. It's going down. This conversation.
You're going to have to read this sometime today. I forgot what time it's coming, but pre-read it, okay? She'll let you know.
Feel alright. One love, hear the children lying. Let's said the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. With them real that's on them. Dirty remind, one love. There is one question I really want to ask. One heart, is there a place for the lonely sinners? Why you rolling your eyes?
I don't know.
One love. What about the one heart? What about the let's get together and feel alright? You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man Charles Thomas in the building, but y'all know how we do at the top of the hour. Gotta say what's up to the WVON morning show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom? Annette, was you a latchkey kid? See, I was not able to watch cartoons because my old man used to come home. See, he had one of them, he had a pager and a pop-up job, right? So he could pop up on you, and if you tried to watch the TV, he'll come in and put his hand on the back of the TV and see if it was warm. Then you'd be like, oh, because you had to be, see, I had a line that I watched the TV from, and I knew that if I heard the key hit the door, I could launch, hit the button, because remember, you didn't have a remote control back then. Remember, you had the TV with the remote control had two buttons, and we could never find it. I was the remote control. Get up, boy, turn the channel. Remember when the TV channel used to go ka-chunk, 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 and you would turn the channel, but my old man would come in and feel the back of the TV, and Lord have mercy. No, did you ever see the movie Footloose? Remember the preacher in Footloose? No dancing, no fun, no, man, I went to church 6 days a week. Look, don't get me started, I'm having flashbacks. Oh no. He had a stopwatch. He knew what time it was. Just gotta say what's up to Sonia Escobar. She is the music conductor of the Soul Plane. Sonia, how you feeling this hour? All right. And Charles, you know how we do. Oh. Now let me tell y'all. Y'all got me all discombobulated because we still have not come up with a new theme song. But she is in the building. With that glow, that sunshiny look. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WVON Morning Show. Welcome back. Miss Amara Inya. Amara, how are you today?
I'm fantastic today.
Amara, you got that shine again. You got that glow. Tell me where you rode the bike to this week.
So I did, again, South Barrington to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
There were some people in town over the weekend. They were in the Major Taylor Club.
Yes.
And they were, I saw them Saturday night, and was that something that happened over the weekend?
So I think they ride south on the Major Taylor Trail, which goes all the way out to the burbs, actually.
And Major Taylor, of course, was the great bicyclist of the early 20th century, who was based here in Chicago. And they celebrate him. Man, there's so much to do in this city. People from all over the country came for that ride.
It's a huge, it's a bike club, so bike enthusiasts. It does honor Major Taylor, the Major Taylor Trail. It's really a nice trail. I don't ride it as much, but it's a really nice trail. It goes all the way out south to the burbs.
Y'all so smart. Well, you know what? It's another bike ride. I better not catch you in it. Don't you be riding around here. Don't you did it before?
I did not.
You better not. Chima, don't make me. Chima, we better not catch you in that. You know them white people be riding around here without. Don't you? Don't you?
I will say I was asked. I turned.
I bet you was asked. You better turn. Don't Chima. Don't make me. All right, y'all. That is Amara Inya. Hey, Amara, did you ever stay home alone? What age would you say is okay for a kid to stay home alone?
So I was never alone. There were 6 of us.
Okay, so who was the oldest?
My oldest brother.
And what was his youngest age he stayed home alone?
From what I can recall, maybe he was 12.
Okay. Did both your parents work?
Yes, both worked.
Okay, and so they had a babysitter? How did it work?
No, that's what the kids are for.
See, I'm telling you. Hey, man, I'm telling y'all, man, it's real in the field out here, man. It is real. Because I'm just thinking, like, six. Can you imagine what child care would cost for 6 children?
I don't even want to think about it.
Right. Necessity. Necessity. All right. Look, y'all, let's get into it. Because, Amara, I was waiting for you to get here just so I could start some trouble. Amara. So what day did you ride your bike? Friday and Saturday, which means you missed. Were you participant in the shutdown of the damn ride?
I was very well aware.
Did you wait? Did you?
I rode north to Wisconsin.
Wait, Amara. Come on, man, because I'm telling you, I was getting calls like, Maze, you're not at the mark. You're not, Amara. So the damn ride got shut down. Right. Father Flager, in my estimation, has established himself as the most influential person in the black community as this political season comes up. My summation, we really don't have any mid-level preachers that were rising that Rahm had initially picked, right? They both fell off. Then you lost, we don't have that many Clay Evanses of the world. Minister Farrakhan is apolitical. Jeremiah Wright, he's not at the top of his game. And Reverend Jackson seems to have a disconnect with the millennials. Do you think that Father Flager this weekend established himself as the most influential person in black community right now, politically at least?
The most influential black person.
No, I'm not. Well, shoot, black people will give it to you. Black people will rechristen you. They'll make you honorary black. But help me understand. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I think that to me the question is really about strategy. I mean, I do want to give kudos and credit to those people who've lost family members, friends, etc., to violence in the city. But my issue was more about the strategy. I mean, a march is really part of a broader strategy that's supposed to generate some results. And it is supposed to be leveraged strategically to get what you're asking for, meaning you have to have an agenda beforehand. My issue is that what I would have done is have the agenda and have the meeting with the mayor first. Here's what we're asking for. 10 million for this in the budget, 100 million for that, these positions, etc. And then if he tries to drag his feet or ignores you, say, we're going to shut down the damn Ryan. But when you broadcast your move early and then actually in coordination with the people who are responsible for addressing some of the issues that you're protesting about, what is the desired outcome? What is success?
See, you know what, Amar? That's why I like you, because you smart, and I get a little hyped up when I tried to say that, but I can't say it so calm because I get excited. Amara, we have a mayoral election coming up currently, and I would tell you that the Afrostocracy ain't what it used to be. They can't whip up the black folks and direct them the way that they're supposed to do. And I think that as we move into the mayoral election, the mayor's got to identify somebody or people who can cull together black folks, at least stitch them something together. Do you think that Father Pfleger recognizes the political ramifications of what happened this weekend? Or was it all spiritual?
I don't think anything is spiritual in the city, and I think Father Pfleger's been doing the work that he's been doing for long enough to understand the political ramifications as well as the spiritual ramifications. I can't imagine that he's not aware of that. I can't imagine he's not aware of that.
So how is it that it seems to me like I'm not suggesting that it's wrong even, right? I'm suggesting that we're being politically naive if we don't think that there are political ramifications for what happened on the Dan Ryan when it comes to who will lead the charge in dispersing the election era spoils, or not spoils, but the election era goodies that are about to come out. We just saw the city announced $1 billion capital investment, and I just want to point out, did I not say every kid was going to get an iPad? And is it in the budget? Pretty close, right? And so who's going to be in charge of disseminating that in the black community?
Well, and that's the issue.
Stop right there, because we got to go to traffic and the weather. Save it. That's what makes for great radio. It's the Talk of Chicago 1690. We'll be back. Yes! Write it down. Don't forget. You don't do the gummy bears, so you might be straight. I'm a gummy bear connoisseur, so I had to write that one down. So Amara, right, when this thing happens, I'm watching it and I'm saying that the black people, it's like, to me, Eminem, it's like black people saying that Eminem is the best rapper ever, right? Eminem is a great rapper, right? He may have sold the most records, but as a black person, can we say Eminem is the best rapper?
Anyone who says Eminem.
So, but that's the same. So now here's my thing. I feel like Father Pfleger knows that what time of the year it is, right? And I don't think his choice panned out. I don't think Arnie Duncan is going to run, right? And so now, if you got programs that are funded by the city, right? You got a community development corporation. You got a shelter. You got all this stuff. You are passing out the goodies which make you, because you've been able to leverage your spiritual power into political spoils. Am I crazy when I say that?
No, and I don't know if you want to talk about this on the air or not, but the question is, what are the outcomes? What has the community at large gotten, right? So I don't fault anyone for doing things to bring in resources to their organization or for the work that they do on the ground. But at this stage in 2018, how has the community at large benefited? Now, the fact that everyone was saying after it was over, well, now we have to figure out what's next. You already know that this has not been.
But it has been planned. But it has been planned to the end. We just don't know the plan. They already set up he already got his list. He got a list.
And that's what's so disappointing. Because if I'm a black elected official, I'm gonna submit this, and I don't even care what the mayor says, whomever says. He can say, no, all right, we're shutting down the damn Ryan. Then you do a press conference to say, here's what we asked for, we're waiting for the mayor to respond, or here's what he agreed to. So now there's public accountability to the things on that agenda. So now they look like they're doing something. But to have back channel conversations and maneuverings, and then to make the march the thing, and it's a success because you shut down the Dan Ryan, but I don't know.
You know, it's like it's the political tomfool. It's like we want to be tricked. Like we Black people have an innate need to have a white savior. I don't care what you say. They feel like they are doing better. They gonna get further when they are dealing with white folks. And guess what? And so when Nike comes to town and they want to do the peace tournament, they don't go. They go, where do they go to? Saint Sabina. When anybody if you are making a decision, you're gonna go to Saint Sabina because you know you're gonna get the cameras and the community benefit. That's not to hate on him, but it means that the resources are concentrated there to be spread from that based on my phone. Eminem might not claim it, but black folks be the first ones to give it to him. They will. Black folks be like, Eminem is the greatest, and they'll be proud to say it. My white boy is the best. White people approve me. Evermore. You're my first. You're the last. My everything. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1698. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man Charles Thomas and Amara in the building. Amara, finish your statement, and then Charles, we're gonna come to you. Amara, what you were saying as it relates to outcomes.
Right. So the question is, what are the outcomes, and what was the result? And quite frankly, those conversations should have been had prior to, and then the march used to leverage negotiations. I mean, this is the art of negotiation. You use your trump card as a last at the end. I guess Trump, no pun intended. At the end, you don't. And there's an art to strategically getting what you need, and part of that is not broadcasting your plans in advance, not planning them in collaboration.
Unless you're in collaboration.
Right. Well, but then again, so what are the results? Right? What are the results?
You know, we have a new, what we're looking at here is a new and arguably improved Michael Pfleger. Remember that when Francis Cardinal George was in charge of the Archdiocese, he was at odds constantly with Mike Pfleger. This new guy, Blaise Supich, is on the same page as Father Pfleger. That should be concerning to black folks, because now the Archdiocese and Michael Pfleger are on the same page, and the Archdiocese is in the social services industry. I mean, they want social programs. They have social programs all over, Catholic charities, et cetera, et cetera. So does this mean that when the negotiation takes place, that any resources flow through the Catholic Church, the Archdiocese, as you were suggesting, they'll flow, but where will they flow, and will we be in control of those services? And when we want true economic development and not more handouts, are we going to get more handouts because of who's walking point in this situation?
So I think that there's going to be resources. I don't know, and I'd have to look a little further into that, because I feel like Father Pfleger and Saint Sabina, I don't really want to get too far into their business, but I was under the impression that the Community Development Corporation was Saint Sabina's Community Development Corporation.
So anything that Saint Sabina owns, let's face it, is basically ultimately controlled by the Archdiocese of Chicago.
Well, I would say that, like the WIC program, there's a lot of programs that are controlled, that we participate in, that are controlled by the Archdiocese.
But do you get my point that what kind of resources are coming? We have a new paradigm in the community where we start talking about economic development to free us from social services programs?
No, I don't.
Or is this going to be a perpetuation of what we've been seeing over the past 50 years?
That's an excellent point. So again, when we talk about, Charles, you bring up an excellent point. What does the resources, what does it look like? What does investment look like? So when we look at last year, when there was a windfall from the property tax rebate program and the amount that was allocated toward things like mentoring programs, which are great, mentoring programs, social service programs, etc. Those are fantastic. However, if we're talking about what empowers individuals and communities, it is tied to economic investments that create wealth. for individuals, for families, for communities. And so when there was an ask, assuming that there was an ask, that there was a conversation taking place, did it center largely on getting grant dollars for social programs, or did it talk about how we're going to allocate, how the $1 billion in capital investments from CPS are going, what neighborhoods are getting the new annexes, the new buildings? Did it talk about the aviation,
$8.5 billion.
Exactly. And who is in leadership positions to make sure that those resources are allocated, economic resources allocated? Were those conversations had?
So, see, I think that, and the challenge becomes who determines what our priorities are, right? So, what I'm suggesting, here's my challenge, right? The old paradigm is still asking for dependency programs, right? And so when you and Charles, I think I get your point, right? When the resources come, because this is what I'm going to tell you like this. I believe that as people listen right now, they're writing the notes down to go make the ask. And so somewhere they might as well have said what's in it for the black people and all of it. They was just like, how can we say what's in it for the black people without saying what's in it for the black people? If you asked all of the people that were in there. So they're taking notes. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a part of this, Amara, Charles, where they say we want economic development. You hear them when they say we want the South Side to look like the West Side, right? But that's theoretical. I mean, we want the South, we want the South Side and the West Side to look like the South Loop and the West Loop. And that's basically, and downtown is what they were saying. But guys, see, my point is, regardless of what resources, and I think what kind of resources we get is one part of it, but the other part is who passes them out and to who. So, like, hey, y'all gotta understand that when the game comes, it don't come like, they don't come to you and say, you have to demand your loyalty. What happens is, you become a preacher, and then you get a church building, and then you start getting grants, and you start getting all this stuff, and they start building you, and then by the time you look up, your church isn't really a church, but it's a den of social service programs that is being supported by the mayor, and then all of a sudden you find yourself at the press conference. Now, that's happening as we speak. Why do you think everybody starts out as a reverend? Because they bring them in and say, hey, man, you be a reverend, we get your church grant, get you started. But the question then becomes now, who disseminates the resources, whatever resources, and who do they go to? So if you ain't in line, right, it ain't the mayor who ain't gonna say. Your man is getting ready to pick who the next leaders are gonna be. The St. Sabina, so when they say the St. Sabina youth want to meet with the mayor, the governor, and everybody, who they talking about? To your point of the wider community, I feel like we've given our political capital away to someone else who has very good intentions for black folks, but yet and still ain't black folks. I know y'all. I know y'all want to make Eminem the #1 rapper, the best black rapper, but Eminem can't be the best black rapper if Eminem ain't black.
Part of the challenge, I think, though, is, well, one is whether other black ministers that do the same or similar get the same kind of press and coverage. So that's one issue. So I just want to put that out there because there are other people who have done marches or called for marches, etc. However, the other piece is our willingness as a collective to do the actual work. And sometimes I think we conflate the things that get the publicity for the work that actually needs to take place. And the work often happens away from the cameras, away from the media. And if we feel good about just having a successful march without the outcomes that we really should be advocating for,
emotions make you cry sometimes.
Then we're missing a large part of the equation of what's necessary for us to advance. We'll
come back and we'll talk about it more after news, traffic, and the weather. Emotions. Let me tell you, them black folks were so happy that they got the march on the damn Ryan. Like it was it's like the premise was just to shut down the damn Ryan. It wasn't we shut it down to get some attention. What other attention do you need? I'm in trouble.
And I again. Like,
I'm in trouble. Woo, I'm in trouble. I said, I told too much again. I'm sorry, y'all. I be telling too much. They like, you giving up too much game, bro. You're telling too much. Sorry, I won't tell no more, y'all. Okay, go ahead, Amar.
Well, I was just saying that again, for the families, acknowledging the families who there's something cathartic about standing in solidarity with other people who have lost family members, friends, relatives to violence of any kind. It does not in any way minimize the meaning of something symbolic to them, right? Because a lot of people struggle with this because they face this. But at the same time, what are the outcomes that we're looking for, and what is the longer term plan, and who is negotiating that? And what are the outcomes that we're looking for? What can we say has been the success? Like shutting down the damn Ryan is, unless that was your intention, I don't think that should be the definition of success, right? The success would be because we shut down the damn Ryan, we got this,
right,
this.
Right.
That to me would speak to success. And if we cannot say that now, well, we've already played the ace, right? So what else leverage do you have in the negotiation? Except those who already, have an in perhaps with the power structure and already cut their deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man. I just think that the craziest part is that we don't see none of this as political. Like, black people will fight you right now. They will tell you that there is nobody that has done more for black people in Chicago than Father Flagrant, right? And I'm gonna tell you that if a black dude tried to walk his ass on the damn Ryan and told us we was going out there, it would have been a whole different situation, because it wouldn't have been them cameras and they would have whooped that ass. Let me just tell you. And there is a vacuum of leadership in our community, period. And it's like understanding that there is a vacuum of leadership in our community. I'm not mad at the man for stepping in and filling the vacuum. I'm just telling y'all it's a vacuum. If you can't tell me who's more influential than Father Flager in the black community, you got an issue. That's not Father Flager's issue. Because he going to keep on moving to do what he knows to do. But has Father Flager, has he updated the model? Has Father Flager said, hey man, these people don't want they don't want another shoot shelter. These people want, look man, you saw this economic development of the of the green line? Man, if that's going to be however much money, 20 million, now I'm going to tell you, all them brothers that live right over, that's over part of that they are, I bet you, because you know who, my man, already lining up to make sure the black folks get their contract. And I just want to point out, if you drive through the West Loop, have you eaten dinner in the West Loop? Do you notice how many, I can't go nowhere. Saturday we went to Cajun Tiger. It was the whitest of white restaurants in the whole world. Guess what? The manager, black, and I had a black server. I was like, excuse me. But it has to be a conscious effort. So right now, I'm saying, if we know that this new department, and I was going to talk to you about this too, Amara, because I feel like, again, stuff is happening. And it's like, you got to be a part of the company. You ain't got to kiss no ring. But to me, if we know that they're getting ready to put that L stop on Lake and Damon. Black people already live there. And we know we got an affordable housing component. Why don't we control all of this new affordable housing? Why don't we say, to make sure black folks don't leave, we're going to put together a community, a freaking fund that says we're going to acquire the real estate and we're going to go to the city and the Department of Housing and say, we want to buy the 20%, the affordable housing, so that we lock ourselves into the city, right? Because we then pay this fund that is run by black folks, has the fund, and we start going and buying in the areas that we know are going to be hot, right? And now you say, Cornelius Griggs, you're going to build all of the new housing, whether it's up, whether it's vertical, whether it's horizontal, you're building it because now you are our new construction guy. We just took and we made 6 developers who built off of this land right here because we knew that if you bought and built affordable housing property around Lake and Damon right now, which is going to be the hottest neighborhood on the west side, right? Because it's going to extend the west side west of Western. We know that it's land there. Why we don't put the fund together now and say, hey, yo, y'all got an affordable housing crisis going on. Our fund is going to buy and purchase affordable housing. Every freaking investment mutual fund would buy into that fund. And you can make Rom give it to you and still say kick rocks. Because the fund is there afterwards. But I'm saying we're not, so instead of being gentrified up out this mug, let's buy a piece. They're building a new Department of Housing. I'm sorry, I'm crazy. I know.
Maybe they should have put that in the ass before the market.
But they don't want to talk about that. They just want your ass to go run out on the highway without saying, let's think about it. Let's put it together. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man Charles Thomas in the building. And y'all, you know how we do. Amara Inya, it's Tuesday. And you know, she is coming here to shed some light. Get us a little smarter. Because, you know, Amara, wait a minute. You know, so I call you Doc. I got to call you Doctor. What do you say? Dr. Lawyer Inya? Dr. Amara Inya JD. Like, how do you put all the alphabets on your name? You got about everything except a Z.
Basically. I did a lot of schooling.
You did a lot of schooling there. And so, Amara, you've done all of this schooling. And it seems like, so maybe you can help me understand why black folks can't never learn. Why we can't learn? Right? Like, why is it that it seems like we know, like we've laid out the playbook. We said they trying to run black folks up out of here. But yet it's still, we don't have a demand to ask or whatever. When I say who's the most influential black person, or not black person, person in the black community, y'all can't even argue too hard against Father Flake. Charles, you look like you got something. What's up, man?
No, there's influential black people out here. I just don't know that they necessarily represent the interests of the black community and the struggle. I mean, I think they're pretty much out for themselves at this point, or for some other political master. But they're out there. I mean, we have them. They're not serving us. And I think that's what we have to begin to address at some point.
Yeah, I think Charles is absolutely right.
The Afrostocracy.
Yes, I mean, part of it is black people have to trust ourselves. We have to, I think there's a fear of not going along with the establishment and with the power structure. There's a fear almost of independence. And so, for example, if we think about elected officials, they're supposed to represent the community's interest to the power structure, but instead they represent the power structure to the community. And so they push the agenda that comes from folks who are not necessarily vested in your well-being, and they push that agenda on us as opposed to them taking the agenda from us and pushing it in those corridors of power. And that is where the failing occurs. And if we're afraid to actually articulate an agenda, then how then can we ever advance? We will always take the path of least resistance that requires the least work, which is to follow up under someone who might not necessarily have our best interests in mind.
So, you know what, Amara, Charles, I think this goes to a larger problem about what do we see in ourselves as a people and our idea of success, right? See, I think you're right when we talk about people, not black folks not wanting to trust each other, because we got a significant part of our constituency that learned that being as close to white as possible is success. I feel like the conversation is dominated right now by people who learn that way. So when you talk about the politicians, when you talk about our business leaders, when you talk about our influencers, they were taught that their success was getting as close to the white folks as they could, or the level of what white folks deemed as successful. And so now what you got, and white folks' idea of success for black folks is benevolence, where our new paradigm says, hey, yo, we know it ain't no affirmative action. We know. So just give us ours. Let us have our piece and let us fairly compete. And I think that's where we got a challenge right now, because I think that when you look at success, black folks ain't trying. They know they're going to be on TV with Father Flager. And this is not a dig at Father Flager, but we believe still that white is right. You are successful if white folks have approved you, if they have certified you. And I think that's the challenge that we got right now. Let's go to the phone lines, because you know what? I've been wanting to talk to you for a minute. Reverend Hatch from the West Side. Yes. Reverend Hatch, I didn't see you on the expressway, man. What's up?
Then you have West Side roots, and Dr. Amara has West Side roots. I mean, Chicago looks a whole lot different from this vantage point. In fact, you know, folk on this side of town didn't really know it even was a march. I mean, that's just how disconnected we are, but it gives us a different perspective. I think your analysis is very interesting, because we can never get beyond the privilege of white privilege. So even if we have somebody who's based in our community, that white privilege still is real.
Man.
I mean, most of us ministers, I would have to choose whether or not I was going to have Rahm Emanuel or Minister Farrakhan on speed dial. I wouldn't have the privilege of having them both on.
Ooh.
Y'all would make me choose. And so I think, I mean, the analysis just has to go very deep about, I mean, what those kind of demonstrations are designed to do is they do make some people power brokers. It's the whole purpose of having the demonstration, and it will be through that vein that the power flow. I mean,
whoa. Reverend Hatch. So are you suggesting that there are politics that can be played with pastors in this case? Because I feel as though we are trying to act as though there's no political ramifications for what happened here.
Was the Exodus political?
Ooh.
Was the crucifixion political? Was Jesus crucified by the state?
Yes.
Wow.
Politics is just about power dynamics. And theology is what side God is on in power dynamics.
Let me ask you real quick. Why was there a disconnect between the West Side and the South Side on this? Like, I thought all the pastors were in solidarity.
For the same reason Dr. King organized on the West Side. It is sufficiently disconnected from the real power dynamic that a person can do independent organizing over here in ways that you can't maybe on the South Side.
Man.
But it's it's like, to get resources for the South Side and the West Side as an appendage. Well, that's not the way we view it at all. We start with our location, with the West Side. And we know that basically the most tragic thing that has happened is the absolute disorientation of the black community in Chicago.
Hey, Reverend Hatch, it's Charles Thomas. I live in the West Loop. Does that count?
No.
Now that explains why you might have.
Explains a lot, don't it? Explains a whole lot.
Hey, look, but do you think part of the problem is that so much of the black Afrostocracy, as we call them, are seated on the South Side?
Yeah, I mean, the South Side has been bigger. Its history is longer. Its economics and politics has been dynamic and national and international in its impact. I mean, the West Side is much smaller, but it's also the people who are the most recent migrants from the South. I mean, so we're the least impacted by what it means to be in the city and to be kind of secularized. It's a little more down homey over here. But it also is a lot more connected to our traditional values in many ways, as opposed to just raw political ambition and economic exploitation. People might use a little more of a values lens on this side of town.
And that's
a little more traditionally African.
That's part of the reason I have to say to Reverend Hatch why I love the West Side, because it does have those values. That sense of family and connectedness is a bit more prevalent in my experience living on the West Side, but it is often overlooked.
I got Charles's text when Lou Myers passed, and Lou Myers was a member of my church. He was a deacon in the church. He was on the board, and that West Side, South Side disconnect was absolutely profound on how the choices he made in life were overlooked. By the time Lou died, he was a West Sider because it's organic. It's where Dr. King lived for good reason.
Reverend Hatch, I gotta go to traffic and weather.
You gotta go.
But hey, man, somebody told me to tell you A. Langston said, "What's up, man?" All right, Reverend Marshall, go mob. Well, shout out to Reverend Marshall Hatch from the West Side. Look, it's the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with Maze.
So I heard a very profound lesson. I was talking to an old gangster, not a gangster, but an old time vice lord from the West Side. He was a conservative. And he said that when they wanted to destroy the black community in Chicago, they put the guns on the South Side because brothers was jealous and would kill each other. And on the West Side, they pushed the drugs because it was where the great thinkers were. It's where the Fred Hamptons and where like our rebellious side came from in this city, because the Afrostocracy was part of the establishment at that point. And so where you look at the growth of the area of us breaking apart or being rebellious, like when you see the machine politicians, when the white boys started getting thrown out over here on the West Side, it was because the black folks was like, we ain't letting these people, and they ran the mob and all of them up out of there. Was all connected. Okay, I'm sorry, Amar. Back to you.
I mean, so Reverend Hatch brought up a really good point about privilege. And one of the things...
Privilege!
Yeah, it's about privilege. And I don't think that people talk about it enough, but even as we're having this conversation about who is the voice or who is the face of this, I guess, this movement or these actions, and the reality is that so the comment that I made about black pastors who might do the same or similar and not getting the press or the media or the coverage, even in development spaces, if you'll notice, a lot of the organizations that get access to the resources in the capital, they are white-led organizations. And it's not because they originated the ideas or had these awesome ideas, it's because they have privilege that allows them to get to the corridors of capital and the corridors of power, more so than their black counterparts. And we see that play out. If you look at the largest organizations that do development in any community, but even look on the West Side, your Breakthrough Urban Ministries, your Salvation Army, your all of those.
Sinai. What's the church? The North Lawndale Community.
Exactly. And it's not because they're doing something that is so groundbreaking. It's because they use their privilege to get the capital that they need to actualize the vision that they have.
What do you want to do?
What does he want to do?
What do you want to do? Think about that. Just think about that. I really think, again, you need to at least meet Alderman Burnett. Because there's so much going on and he directs traffic. I know you're twisting your mouth up, but it's I'm saying it's happening, and it's like all of the big people, we'll talk about it. We started so long ago, I want outcomes. And it's like, that L station, like, that's an outcome. You, come on, bitch, you be my lady. Wars going on across the sea. I ain't frontin', shorty coming with me. Now I done already gave her the keys to the left. Oops, listen. Wvon. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man Charles Thomas in the building. But also, y'all, she is in the building. Got that bright, sunshiny yellow. Amara, why you always in here with some yellow on? Is it like because you bright like the sun?
Bright like the sun.
Shining. You like yellow? Is that you got something with the yellow?
Yellow is my favorite color.
Yellow is your favorite color?
On the Biafran flag, it's the land of the rising sun.
See, I knew it was some spiritual deepness going on there. I knew it couldn't just be, ooh, yellow is pretty. Couldn't just be yellow is pretty. It's got to be the connection to our roots of the Amara. Let's go to some phone calls. Let's go to Zakia. Zakia, you on the Talk of Chicago 1690.
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sister.
Let me ask you this question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember the movie The Ten Commandments?
Uh-huh.
Do you know, you remind me of Nathan in the movie.
Uh-oh.
Nathan was the character that was played by Everett G. Robinson. And every chance Nathan got, he was trying to discourage Moses, discourage the people to come out against Moses. He was discouraging the people. Every victory that Moses led the people to, Nathan was discouraging the people. That ain't gonna be right. Or they were trying to figure out some kind of way to do opposite of what was right, what God was leading Moses to do.
Thank you, Zakia. You know what? But you know, I was just thinking, is that the same Ten Commandments with white Moses? With white Charleston Heston? When the Egyptians was white as snow? Is that the same one? Yeah, I hope I don't remind you of that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, see what I mean, though? See, but Amara, I love Zakia, right? But that's even her image. When she used an illustration, she had to go get the white Moses. We just can't help it, right? We just can't help it. Can't be no black Jesus. Can't be no black Jesus. Don't you better get that black Jesus up out of here. You come around here with that black Jesus. Rico, you on the Top of Chicago 1690. Stop laughing at me.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Rico.
One thing I wanted to point out is a couple of things, and I do public service work, mailman. I work for the state, work for the federal government, and the marching is good, but I'm kind of on like what Minister Farrakhan said. We can't march just to march, because that front with Eddie Johnson locking hands with people, and this is the same police chief that refuses to terminate an officer who's been in a bar fight, and 2 people were murdered at a home. So we have to get some results as black people in the community. We've got to get out there and be registered to vote and be willing to make that sacrifice to get out of bed those mornings and get the votes done. Because we're not going to get anything changed if we don't get the right people in place. We tried that with our president. President Obama could have done more for black people. We did not put the pressure on him to get that done. And that we failed to do that. And we're kind of in the situation that we are now.
Thanks, Rico. Hey, y'all. See, this what I was saying. Charles Amara. The march, at the front of the march on the day of Ryan, locked arm in arm with Reverend Jackson, locked arm in arm with Father Flager and everybody, was the police superintendent who refused to say that Robert Riomo should be fired, right? Betty Jones is dead, right? And so I was Insane Wayne was about to pull his hair out this morning. Well, he ain't got none. He got a bald head. But he was about to pull it out when I said, so check it out. Your march was led by the person you was protesting, and on top of it, Ron sanctioned it. He said, let my people go. There go that white Moses again. Charles, you got something?
No, I mean, like I said, like we said yesterday, the whole thing was turned around.
Amara.
Turned around.
Well, again, it's the question of what is the effectiveness of the march when those who are best positioned to address, I mean, this was about violence, right? And there are key individuals in key positions of power in this administration, in the city, who can actually do some very tangible things to address the root causes of violence. It's not that we don't know. It's that we don't have the will to actually do those things. So when you have individuals who are in a position to do the things that are required, meaning strategic investments, meaning addressing all of those things, in what universe does it make sense to have them alongside when in actuality we should be saying, we're holding you accountable to do what we know you can do. And if you don't do that, then we're going to march, right? The superintendent can definitely make sure to use the force so that there's safety, right? So that people there are no accidents, no injuries. But the message that is sent when everyone is sort of marching in line as though no one is accountable, where's the public accountability for the people who are actually in positions to make things happen? If they're all in the same march, well, who are we going to be accountable?
Yeah, I mean, I really thought, I was hesitant to say this, but Eddie Johnson had a conflict of sorts, being there locked arms in the march. Aren't you supposed to be?
What did the police officer say? What does, because you know what we should have did? We should have seen what Second City had to say. You know what? Somebody go to Second City over the break. Because what do you think the police officers thought of seeing Eddie Johnson? Now, they was like, get us our overtime. That's right, Mr. Superintendent. Because can I tell you, who was the happiest people on the march? All the white people who was working getting that overtime. Because I'm telling you, it was a police officer I was talking to. He was like, oh, I love the march. March on. See, I'm from Rogers Park, though. I don't even know how to get here. But yeah, I'm here. I'm getting paid double time. Yeah, we got family vacation coming up. Thank you, Negroes.
But that's the other thing. What I could have, and again, the police have a role in making sure that there's safety and that the march is executed safely. But what I would have liked to hear is perhaps something that says, here are some strategies that we're implementing so that the homicide clearance rate is above 17%, right? Because that's part of the overall violence issue. Here are some things that we're doing to make sure that investigations are carried out with some integrity so that people aren't waiting months and years for justice. Here's how we're changing our stance on Riamo because we recognize that X, Y, and Z. Right? Those are some things that could, now ideally, that would make more sense and show that there's some accountability on what they can do, right?
But see, we like emotion. See, we emotionally shut down the damn ride. Y'all, we shut it down. We did it. We showed them white people as they continue to build new multi-million-dollar train stations and build the new communities around. And we shutting down the damn ride. Let's build something. Let's make something. Let's make something happen. Look, it's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. I'm my man, Charles Thomas. Amara Inya's in the studio. Y'all keep your calls. We're going to take your calls. Plus, we are going to talk Supreme Court. Amara, what could this mean to us? Talk Chicago 1690. What? I hate when they do that. I hate when people start flagging and waving and being, don't be giving me no tough wave. Like y'all be, when it's time for me to go to work, don't nobody be like, tough wave me when I'm sitting here an hour and a half before everybody writing notes. Tough wave. I'm just playing, y'all. Sensitive, I don't like nobody telling me what to do.
Well, I can say one thing. It was perfect weather for a march.
Man!
It was beautiful weather.
It was beautiful. The pictures were... Man, can I tell you the pictures, though? Man, I was like, dang, I should have did it just so I could give me a bomb Facebook post. I should have took the picture. I could have got me a profile pickup out of that. I could have been like, all right, crowd, stop. Pow, hit me. Got me a selfie? Man, please.
Instead of singing to the cop, worth 1,000 words. Got a picture of the father plate. That's Mr. Finner. I think they're calling him by his wife's name, Mr. Finner. They call him, no, they call Eddie Mr. Finner.
Oh, wow.
Marching arm in arm with an asshole breaking the law.
That's from the second city cop.
Yeah.
Man, I'm sorry. See? Poor Eddie. Eddie like, I'm up out of here. And I heard at the march, so one of the things that nobody's talking about is that there was a negotiated agreement, and that there was the flagger people who were going to walk down the lane, and there was another group who said, hell no, we shutting this whole summer gun down. So there was an agreement, right, to the governor and the so the governor's office never talked to Flagler. The city took control of the negotiation. So Eddie Johnson and the city and OEMC and all of them took control, negotiated, and then coordinated with the state. So the state took the road, the expressway. The city took the bridges and overpasses to control entrance, exit, and it was the thing that's driving me crazy is people don't understand. And then what happened was Flagler, they were already good with their march. As more people came in, they was like, hold on, this ain't shutting down the damn Ryan. And so there was a negotiation going on between city, state, and Flagler and his crew. And then there was an offshoot group that just said, fuck it, we going. Right? If you watch Brian Mullins' video combined with Letisa Wallace's video, and then you watch mine, where you can see the whole thing, it's like people walking up the street, people coming down, and then you see a bubble start to happen with the state police while Flagler is over here negotiating. Another group is starting to penetrate the other lanes, and they're pushing state troopers into oncoming traffic, not pushing like this, but so it's like you got a Y. And so now it's going like, so you got the people that are coming up the street, and then you got the people coming in off 67, but when they coming in, you gotta be doing it. So it'll be going this way. So as they're coming in, you got this group that's coming this way. As they're coming in off 67, this group is like, man, they weren't part of the original group. They like, we going over. And so then they was trying to stop there from being a hullabaloo. So then it's like, and then what happened was when the governor announced that there was a deal, right? He should have just been quiet. He announced that, we have an agreement to do it. And now all the protesters are looking like, how we got to deal with it? Because the protesters don't realize that they're pawns. They don't realize they just the backdrop to show. So now they like, hell no. So now you got this other rebel group of people who like, oh no, we ain't going with no negotiated. And what I think, how you got to help people understand that every time there's been a march, the police have always been contacted, and they've always secured the route, even all the way back. But the protesters are so mad at the concept that there could even be any coordination because they mad with the police, and then they fuck around and wind up marching with the police. Now, if the governor's team would have deployed, if it wasn't a deal, they would not have deployed all those state departments to shut down the express lanes. The state police shut down the expressway for them anyway. It wasn't they laid down and stopped traffic. The state police said, okay, y'all Negroes work this out, and then y'all tell us, and then we'll take the move and jump over. If y'all say we shut it down, we'll shut it down. When dude said chaos, right? Then he gave them the inroad. it's like, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God. And it's like the white folks, you know how like white folks don't want to hear the black people until after they want to hear the black people, but then it's the black people that be, let me stop. I'm gonna stop. Man, no yoga?
No.
Come on, come on, Amar,
I'm a Pilates person.
Just a little.
No yoga for me.
You don't want the YouTube popping up in your camera. I mean,
I don't do nothing.
You are so incredibly made over. I mean, you are.
Thank you.
I mean, or something.
Thank you.
I gotta figure this out. We gotta figure this out.
I appreciate that.
We gotta figure this out.
We'll figure it out, right? Somehow, some way.
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Get him, Sonya. Come on, Amar. Not just a little bit. Just a little. You can't even move your hands. You can't clap. You see how you do it, brother. See, you be like.
It's all right.
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my man Charles Thomas in the building. But y'all know how we do at the top of every hour. When you hear at 8 o'clock, when you hear that song, the yoga means I got to get my stretch on. Now, but we also got to say what's up to the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar. And I will say what's up to the curmudgeons on the other side of the table, because neither one of them want to give me no yoga.
There's only one curmudgeon.
y'all yoga curmudgeons together. And that is the voice that you heard in the background is Charles Thomas. And that laugh that you hear is Amara Inya with, I would start saying all the alphabet that go with your name, but then I might get in trouble with the other alphabet boys or girls or whatever's going on. So I'm going to leave all the alphabet out. Look, we're going to talk about the Supreme Court, but before we go, I just want to take some of these calls that we have and we've been talking about. So let's go to the phones. Rick, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690. What's up, man?
Yeah, I think with the march, what did they ask for? A little history. Eddie Reed had shut down the expressways before. It was to get more jobs on work site. They knew what they wanted. They had a goal. They made a demand, and it was a negotiation from it. The other thing that we talked about in terms of white people leading, the Bible says, don't despise the time of small beginnings. We're too willing to give up the shipment circus. A lot of people I came up, they gave up the family business to get in corporate America. And Hispanics and other people control those businesses now. And so I think we got to build our own institutions. And by the way, Jesus was born in Northeast Africa.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, I think that all this boils down to also what does success look like to black folks? Like when you ask them what do they want, right? Most of them, what does that success look like? Let's get these calls. Ron, what you mean you disagree with me 1,000%? You all right, man?
Hey, I agree with you, man. Hey, look at it.
Oh, man.
Hey, look here. A caller told me maybe about 8 years ago, and he said, Ryan, you know what, black folks should make real good soldiers, because you know what, we do a hell of a lot of marching. But I just want to ask you all a question.
Yes.
Back during the civil rights protest, did George Wallace join the protest? When Martin Luther King, did Bull Connors join the protest? When Martin Luther King marched over in Marquette Park, did the Klan? I never saw a protest when those that you were protesting against joined on your side. So you know what, guys? As I say in politics in Chicago, it's 3-card march, pin under the cup, a charade. Nothing will come out of this, guys. And I've been in this town 60-some years, and nothing has changed. So my father playing the game, so don't expect anything. Black folks just keep on marching and get nothing. Have a good day.
Dang, Ron. Let me just say this, though. Y'all can't be calling Eddie Johnson Bull Connor, man. He ain't Bull Connor. Come on, get up off my frat, man. Y'all can't be doing it. Let's go to Willie. Willie, on Talk Chicago 1690.
Hey, man, look, one of the most dangerous parts about this entire march and the narrative that's crafted around it is that it leads a miseducation to younger folks who weren't alive during the civil rights era at all. It makes it, we have all of the photo ops that gives people the opportunity to say, look, it's just like when King was doing it. It's just like when John Lewis and those folks were doing it. They're fighting for our rights. When they don't have, like you said, a clear demand in place, when they place Father Figure in those roles, they don't appreciate the fact that that Dr. King was at odds.
Thank you, Willie. I think I see where Willie is going there. Again, it goes to the point of, like, who do our young people see? Who do black kids see as their freedom fighters in Chicago or their hero going forward?
But that's part of the problem, because there's this notion, again, that the march is the thing. What I'm seeing is that there's just an unwillingness and a misunderstanding of the work that is actually required to create change. Now, if they see 10,000 marches and our conditions are still what they are, then that should tell you something. So for any young people, millennials, who are seeing people who are out marching, what we're seeing is our unemployment rate is increasing. We're seeing that we're losing our homes at higher rates. We're seeing the continued displacement of hundreds of thousands of black residents. And that should tell you that there's something about the march itself that is not the thing that gets results.
Are you running for mayor?
This has nothing to do. I
hope so.
Yeah, I'll sit it out if you do.
I mean,
I'll sit it out if you do.
Oh, because I didn't know you were.
I am still considering it. I'm still considering it, unless I become the mayor of Chicago Radio. Go ahead.
Well, but that's the thing. If we're seeing what is being done and we're not seeing the results, then that should tell you that what's being done is not what's working. And so we have to start speaking more critically about what it's going to take to actually change some things. And we cannot be afraid of doing the actual work, not just what gets on TV, not just what gets you the press, but the actual work.
Hey man, the people on TV, like, unless you like a media personality, usually the people on TV ain't the ones that are making the stuff happen. You really don't know who the people are. Now, in the case of Father Flager, right? Father Flager is a political player in Chicago. I don't care what you say. He is a factor, a force that you must consider if you are making a political move. But I'm just suggesting, y'all, we got to, where does our political wherewithal come from? Like, y'all, how do we get from complaining to actively taking part? I was thinking about this Green Line station. While we were shutting down the Dan Ryan, this Green Line station that is in my neighborhood, man, shout out to my man, Alderman Burnett, because I'm just going to come anyway, right? So, I just get it out there. So, but it's the process, the progress isn't stopping. Like, for every march, another building goes up. Who are the new Cornelius Griggses? Amara, are we saying that we know that the Damon L stop is going to be the hub of a new transportation district that's in the vicinity of the United Center that we know is coming? Are we saying that is part of the deal to say, look, man, the Black Community Development Corporation is going to have a fund put together and we're going to buy this land and we're going to put the affordable housing there and secure our part there? Like, how do we get from, like, all of these people who theorize politically and they got all the mad marches but don't know none of the process to get something actually done? How do we take this development that's occurring and participate? Not talk about, we don't got no union jobs. How do we become part of the developers and determine?
Part of it requires us to think differently about who we have to value the folks who are not on camera. And I say this because when those development deals are happening, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that folks are just not aware of because we're so distracted by the people who are on Facebook Live at this latest march, right? But when it comes to talking about economic investment and economic development and what actually builds wealth, those are conversations that are happening in City Hall. Those are conversations that are happening with those who are making the decisions that will affect whether any of that development will positively affect you living in that neighborhood, or even whether you can stay in that neighborhood. So until we shift away from the symbolic, not saying to diminish the importance of the symbolic, because there is a role for that, but until we start to recognize the value of other components of this and what it's going to take to actually be in those conversations and to represent our interests, we're going to continue to see those marches. Meanwhile, the development and the work that's actually happening will continue to be excluded.
Amara, it seems to me that we enjoy the sexiness of what we ain't got. I feel like we enjoy it, right? Like, look at us, we have suffered and we like to point. But like, have we said, okay, because construction, can we become signatories to the union? Have we said that, Amara, instead of the next community development corporation going to another pastor who's pledged his allegiance, where's Amara's community development corporation or development corporation? How do we participate? Because see, I feel like our conversation has been dominated by people from an old model, right? I don't need to, we know it ain't no black folks really with hammers and nails, but we do know that we got people that can be developers. We do know people who went to college, and if that guy becomes a developer, well, guess what? Now he's making the decisions on the projects, right? We got a church being built on the south side, right? $23 million. $23 million. How much of it is black? How many black developers, who's black that's building? We don't need to march to do that. We need to have the internal wherewithal to say, we got to do for ourselves. You got $23 million. You better make some black people wealthy.
And it's also not even beyond the actual development project. We have to look at the wealth is being built on the land deals. Like these are
exactly
conversations. Like who was getting.
Nobody want to talk about that. That's too sad. That's too nobody wants to talk about. They don't want to talk about that. It's way more sexy to say, look, it's the Talk of Chicago 1690. And we got to have a conversation because it's happening and it ain't stopping. It's just we gonna keep on complaining as we keep getting rolled over. Talk of Chicago 1690. We'll be back. I'm saying, like, right now, what do you have to take advantage? Who do we have to take advantage? Because I'm telling you, this affordable housing thing that they're trying to do, let me tell you who's getting ready to line up and take advantage of it. Rich white Jewish people who are going to start nonprofit corporations. They're going to use people like the Jane Addams Hall House and all of that to go in and use black people as a battering ram. Say y'all kicking them out, and then they will be the power brokers on the new development. We know that 20%, we know that with that new housing ordinance, the affordable housing ordinance in the pilot program, that there's a mandate of 20% housing. Who is building the 20%? Who is the corporation that is going to say, look, so Amara Enya says, all right, I want the 20%, or Amara, we put together a corporation, not no damn nonprofit, but a corporation that we all buy into. We say, you run it. Now, if you don't think we can get you to the table and trust you, we can get you to the table. It's the key is to trust you to do right. The problem is we keep putting people at the table, and when you get them to the table, they see the money and be like, ooh, I want to get the money. There's money to be had, but Negroes be like, I got to get it. Let me get this. So they feel like I got a mark or a hook, so they don't cultivate the relationship and become profitable. What they do is they say, what can I take right now because y'all got me. You forced to do it. So now you got 50 jobs or 1,000 jobs down the damn line with people standing with they fucking black and green. And at the end of the day, Walsh still became a billionaire. But we cool because we saw black. Oh, sprinkle some Negroes around there. What's the next step? How do we go from, because I'm watching, so look at the Astor, for instance. You look at the Astor Gates. They did the thing for him. They said, you know what? There are all these places that are blighted. They got a bunch of rich white folks from the University of Chicago to put them a fund together and say, go buy all of this property and make yourself rich. And we're going to get an investment. We're going to get a return on the fund. Right? So now Theaster has a bucket of money that he can go anywhere and buy anything he wants, and the white folks be like, "Woo, Theaster's an artist. He's gonna turn." So you got the Currency Exchange Cafe. This nigga ain't never ran a restaurant in his life, but he got a cafe on the L stop, guaranteed to be. But when Theaster got to the table, he was made by the white folks. It's like it be happening, and it's like everybody is a scientist, and it's like everybody is scientists that don't know how to cook. I don't want it. They don't want to learn the game. Everybody want to keep misleading us. Say what sounds sexy. It ain't sexy to look at contracts. Land deals ain't sexy. You get better ratings when you say, we got black people on the damn riot. Boring ass land deals. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. We got Charles Thomas and Amara in you. You know what, Amara? See, I'm going to tell you. I think black folks would rather march on the damn Ryan. Don't nobody want to look at no stupid land deal. Them old boring contracts. Who gonna go look at, hey man, I want to see some hard hats. And I want to see some construction. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, we are the labor that creates more billionaires.
I tell you, if people ever saw what is in those land deals, or if they looked at just the allocation of professional service dollars in the corporate fund and to see who is being enriched by those no-bid contracts for professional services for the city, maybe they would change their perception about what's sexy and what's not when it comes to what's going to advance our people.
Man, but you know the people there's people who mastered it, Charles.
Go ahead, and I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening to this conversation. It's stimulating.
Okay. Well, let's go to the.
Charles likes it.
I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the WVON morning show, just like tens of thousands of others are this morning.
Yes.
Well, Charles, what you think? What's your thought, man?
Huh?
What's your thought on that? Okay, let's go to. Gotcha. Let's go to the phone lines. Maurice, you're on the Talk of Chicago. What did I miss, man?
This is Maurice Perkins at the Swift Mansion.
Maurice, you on my list, man.
Who is selling T-shirts? I sold 100 at the march the other day. And Father Flager is to be commended because he put his life on the line. He's kept this flame alive. And I came to the march because since Dantrell Davis was murdered in Cabrini Green, we've pulled leaderships and gangs together. Just like Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover, they still working with us to have a presence in this city. We got to look at ground zero and do something relevant. Just like Father Flager, he's facilitating something that's quite relevant to the community. And they want to know what's in it for the black people. Now, look, we got a project on State Street for $120 million that Dorothy Tillman turned down some years ago. What we're saying is we're ready to move forward with this project. Both the governor's candidates are billionaires. Why can't they come on 49th and State Street and help us create a legacy for all that was lost and create economic development? We got to stop talking. We've got plans and proposals, but there's certain black men in Chicago persona non grata based on the fact that these Irish Catholics and Plague is a Catholic, so that is a real dichotomy there, but he's relevant.
Maurice, I'm with you, man, but hold on. Because I saw you on TV. Did you say you sold 100 What's in it for the Black People t-shirts?
For me and you, your favorite charity is at the top of the doggone list.
What's my favorite charity? It's Maze Jackson. Hey, man, I'm telling you, how much I get paid around these parts.
I saw you at the Hadia Pendleton event. I showed you our product and told us we're going forward. I mean, you can't cop a phrase from Webster's dictionary and own it independently. We have to share it mutually because Webster owns it independently, right? So
wait, Webster owns What's in it for the Black People independently?
Let's do something. I made an investment. It's a great investment. We're going forward. We got a project at 49th and State Street to honor the legacy of CHA and Miss Cowherd.
Okay, we gotta stop that. Hold on. Did he just tell me he was taking my joint and using it? That's when I be like, I don't want to have the lawyer send the cease and desist. He sold 100 What's in it for the Black People shirts this weekend. He said he gonna donate it to my favorite charity. I'm like, I'm my favorite charity. All right, y'all. Go ahead, Charles. What do you say?
Man, y'all just lost me, man. Y'all talking about t-shirts, everything. I was sitting here just listening, trying to catch up. Just trying to catch up.
Hey, man, well, he was at the march, and I saw him on TV rocking my What's in it for the Black People shirt, but it was his own that he created, and he's selling them himself. And he told me, he was like, you'll get your cut. Let's go to the phone. Ooh, sorry about that. So, Tan, you're on the top of Chicago 1690.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to call and just give a quick piece of history that I had when I was in the media business. 1971, I actually worked at Channel 7 as a concessionaire with the first black magazine news show that would come on every Sunday. And sometimes the stories, of course, they have so much content they would want to put it in the daily news. Black contractors at that time, 1971, had performed a work moratorium on 6 different construction sites because they were not included.
I need you to speed it up, bro.
Yes, sir. The bottom line was that when I was asked to do the story, I did the story, and I wrote that was a work moratorium, and then the general manager told me, well, just say it was a demonstration. I wrote moratorium again, and then he came back and said, well, just say that it was a protest. And when I continued to put in moratorium, where that was an activity that was done to make a difference, he got angry and said, oh, just forget the story.
Thank you. Let's go to Joe. Joe, you're on the top of Chicago.
Oh, good morning, man. This is Deacon Joe, and I'm from Black Hole, Mississippi, and I've been here 55 years. And I wanted to make the point. See, you got 2 type of demons, May. You got the type of Bull Connor demon. He'll spit in your face and hit you upside the head with a billy club, but he's still gonna stab you in the back and ain't got nothing for you. Then you got the Rahm Emanuel and that police chief type of demon. They'll smile in your face and hold your hand, but they ain't got nothing for you, and they gonna stab you in the back. Now the question is, which one is better?
See, y'all ain't gonna never get me arguing about which white boy is better. You just ain't gonna. That's just not an argument I'm gonna have. All right, y'all. Let's go to Arnez. Wait, hold on. Arnez, you're on the top of Chicago.
Good morning, Maze. Good morning, Amara. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
Maze, I've been trying to get the black community to understand, and we about to break ground in the 4th quarter of this year on a $70 million black-owned, black-controlled development that's going to span 59th and Hall Street through 61st and Hall Street, both sides of the street.
Oh, this is Arnez Dancy. Man, we have it on the show. Go ahead.
Exactly. So what the Chicagoland Black Chamber of Commerce is doing is exactly what we're talking about. This has been a 3-year process, and we're just about at the end of it. And I want to thank 16th Ward Alderman Tony folks for backing us to bring our black-owned, black-controlled development. Now, how are we doing it, Maze? Phase 1 is 80 units of rental. Let me back up. The whole project is 240 units of rental. 60% market rate, 40% low income, and project-based section.
Ernest, where you doing that at? Just tell me where you're doing, because I got to let you go, but we're going to have you on for it. Where are you doing it?
59th and Halsted through 61st and Halsted, both sides of the street.
Oh, wait, that's 240 units of affordable housing. Y'all, I'm going to tell you, there's an opportunity here. There's an economic opportunity as this crisis is going on. Amara, what are we going to do to take some actual action? Because you're so smart. Can you think about it, and when we come back, you can kind of tell us? Because you smart. It's Top Chicago 1690. We'll be back.
Live from the WVON newsroom.
Okay, but do you understand what I'm saying as it relates to creating a real estate investment fund? That the whole premise of it would be about affordable housing, right? So you just saw that the mayor made this declaration.
Oh, yeah, make it Buddy Guy.
The mayor made a declaration, which means that the Wall Street investors are they're going to do tax credits, they're going to do all of that. So you know there are going to be people who want to take advantage of it. Now, think about the fact of creating a black investment fund that, again, I know, like my point is not that you have to be on their team, but if it's going to happen, like, why not be in an administrative role so that we know that, like, essentially 20% of all new development could be bought by this fund. Now, the fact of the matter is it has to happen. It's just going to be, are we going to control the affordable, or will the white folks? Because what happens is you buy the asset, you make it affordable, but the goal is to make it affordable with a cap. Right? 30, you only want a 20-year window for it to be affordable, and then all of those houses come back on market rate, which is what the white folks will do. But if our goal is to keep black folks in Chicago, then we say when we build the units, we're not going to disinvest in them. We're going or sell them. We're going to own them to maintain the affordable housing.
Well, I mean, I think that is part of a broader conversation about community development so what I would consider is actually expanding this to include the Opportunity Zone initiative, which is from the federal tax legislation that was just passed, because a large part of that is coming down to real estate, which is one of the strongest investment mechanisms, right? So it's the affordable housing, but it's also about the land ownership component as well. So how do you, even around the affordable housing structure, make sure that the land that's adjacent to can also be purchased by a similar investment, if not the same?
Why not? I'm saying, like, my point is that, this is my thing, right? As a outsider to government, you don't realize what's possible. As a lobbyist, I realized that all that's in the negotiation. And like when people sit down, they think about all the interests. So the thing I'm saying with an Amara is, so you get all of that and you get the challenges that could be there. So then you say, okay, but this entity has the ability to pick up blah, 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 blah. Then we put an incentive in the law for the real estate investors, the investors who would buy into this affordable housing fund. So we make the real estate investors get the tax benefit. So like right now you go to IDA and get the tax benefit, right? You get the 9% of the 4% tax credit from IDA. Well, if you gave that tax credit back to the investor, everybody that's making that's making $1 million or $2 million a year would be investing in this fund. Right now, you can't get the tax benefit for it. So if you created an affordable housing fund that we could also get you a tax benefit from investing, and you could keep the personal tax investment, then you got people that are pouring money into this fund that is buying up units and property across the country with the whole goal of maintaining affordable housing. right? It's a maintaining in these urban populations. And so no, your return on investment won't be your traditional, but the government will allow you to not only take your return on investment because you're an investor, but you can get the tax benefit. And instead of giving it to the state, give the tax benefit to the investor, and now you got a fund that's off the chain that everybody's throwing money at, and you're saying, when you go into the city, I got $200 million under commitment I'm going to buy, but this is what I need. These are the parameters I need to make happen.
I think part of the challenge is that there aren't enough individuals who, where these conversations are taking place, have the wherewithal to really think through the possibilities in that way. So think about the investment fund, and I'm not trying to put anyone on blast, but it came out of the Treasurer's office. It was a proposal for an investment fund, but the city only had like a 20% controlling stake, which is nothing if we're talking about how to direct investment to.
So Amara, again, as a government or outside person, you can tell us all the challenges, and then we work to address them. No, it won't be perfect, and no, there's not going to be 500 people that do it. We don't have 500 people that are ready to do it. I'm suggesting that this shit is happening.
Right, so what I'm saying is it's happening, but who are the other people that are around the table who can think through it in that way? And
Amara
that's where
Inya,
we have an opportunity,
and,
in my opinion.
and I'm saying Amara Inya should be thinking through the opportunity, right? And be providing the insight and the input, because most of the people that are doing it, they don't know, so it's the lobbyists, it's everybody else telling them, and eventually it'll just work out for white folks. And I'm just saying, while it's happening, it's happening.
That is Chicago's very own Buddy Guy, screaming his 1961 hit, Stone Crazy. Rolling Stone magazine calling Buddy Guy one of the 100 greatest guitarists of all time. 81 years old, Buddy Guy still going strong. That's my choice for this morning, brought to you by Next Level Health. If you need Medicaid and you live in Cook County, give Next Level Health a call. They will get you covered. Mace?
Hey y'all, it is the Talk Chicago 1690 AM every day after the 8:30 break. It is Charles's Choice. But check this out. The Greater Chatham Initiative welcomes the community to their second annual outdoor dining experience, Dining on the 5. Occurring now until Saturday, July 14th, this food extravaganza is located at the Chatham Center, Chicago, on 75th Street's Restaurant Row, along Indiana Avenue east to Langley Boulevard from noon to 8. Now, last year, Dining on the 5 was wildly successful. The vibe on the block was fantastic and created a great atmosphere of camaraderie and community. So come on down today to 75th Street's Restaurant Row for good food, great shops, and amazing outdoor dining experience. For more details about Dining on the 5, visit ChathamCenterChicago.com. Hope to see you all there. My name is Maze Jackson. I'm the host, my man Charles Thomas, as well as Amara Inya in the building. Real quick, y'all. Supreme Court nomination. Amara, Charles, what does it mean for black people, this Brett Kavanaugh? Green team, slide one out. Kennedy, slide one in. Kavanaugh.
You know, I think that we should really be concerned about rulings other than Roe v. Wade that could happen. I mean, this court could still make pronouncements about affirmative action. It could still make, it will make many pronouncements about decisions concerning immigration reform and how that's going to be carried out, as well as there could be another case to come up before the court involving Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. So I think there are other issues than Roe v. Wade or reproductive rights that we need to be watching, and how this decidedly conservative court decides those issues.
Yeah, I think Charles was right. I mean, a lot of the focus on Kavanaugh's nomination has centered on Roe v. Wade, and there's so much more that is at stake with this nomination. Even the fact that Kavanaugh is only 53 years old, right? So he's extremely young. We've got the other appointees, Neil Gorsuch, who's also relatively young, Chief Justice Roberts, who's very young. And so the decisions that they make will be long-lasting, and they are going to be in these positions for quite some time. Things that we should be concerned about, as Charles alluded to, are the affirmative action cases, which are not resolved as far as I'm concerned, thinking about the Voting Rights Act and thinking about voting access in this country. We just had, at least in when it comes to labor and what's happening in the labor sector, like there are so many other decisions that are going to be made. Yet what we're seeing is that there's a lot of emphasis on his Roe v. Wade and his stance on that, in which he hasn't even been clear, according to his the 300 opinions that he's written over the last 12 years.
I think that that is a Democratic dog whistle, and I think that they are trying to rile up women for this, what I don't think is going to be a wave. I don't foresee a Democratic wave coming, but I think that when we think about this Supreme Court nomination, not this guy being nominated to the Supreme Court, what does it mean for black people in the future? I really think that for all intents and purposes, affirmative action is dead. I don't know how long it's been. Honestly, I thought it was dead before this last pronouncement. I don't know if it was. Am I correct on that?
Well, no, it's not that it's dead. It's that, I mean, the cases have been relitigated, and so you're seeing that it's been chipped away at, right? So that's just one. When we look at things like college admissions and those sorts of things, it is still a factor. It's still being relitigated. But I think probably what is most concerning is the Citizen United case and what it means for the power of corporations in this country. And when we talk about campaign finance reform, or we talk about whose voices matter, and the fact that Citizens United essentially gives corporations the same power as people, that is something that is very concerning, because that affects everything from who gets elected to who has the power to influence decision-making and policy-making in this country. And if this court, and if Kavanaugh is aligned with that, which based upon his history of rulings and his leanings, then this is something we should all be concerned about.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, I think there was a story that was in the paper that caught my attention that maybe made this Supreme Court thing come just a little bit into focus for me, and even unions come into focus for me. Did you see that these restaurants, the fast food restaurants, had in their job applications a no poaching clause? Do you all understand that?
I don't.
Okay, so a no poaching clause, which meant that if you worked, let's say at a McDonald's franchise, you could not go to another McDonald's franchise and make more money. Right? And it was, yes, and it was in the contracts, or excuse me, in the job applications against these at least 5 major places in the fast food industry, right? Like Five Guys and I want to say KFC. I don't want to mess it up, but it got me to thinking about like where our society is going, right? So, and I could personalize it because I worked at Burger King.
That is a very difficult, I don't know it in detail, but when you think about how the minimum wage laws are being written, particularly in Illinois, where jurisdictions are setting up their own minimum wage. In other words, if you're working in a suburban McDonald's, you could make less money than somebody who's working in one in the city. So you wouldn't be able to move between the two?
if the franchise owner, well, they took it out. Well, they're suing. Right now, they're suing. I'm going to tell you, that was scary.
That is scary.
You know, think about the fact that you worked at McDonald's and so now you're locked into McDonald's forever. One McDonald's. And they say you can't get no salary change. I'm saying, y'all, kids growing up in the suburbs, like if you grow up in a black suburb, right, and you get a fast food job and you learn the basic skills, you become a highly, I know fast food ain't the thing, but you become a highly desired commodity.
Particularly in this kind of economy that has quote unquote full employment.
Yes.
And what's scary is the fact that it is contributing to the wage stagnation and making sure that there is a permanent, which there already is, but a permanent underclass. So if you can't move around to, and the irony is that if we're talking about the marketplace and your ability to move around, to shop around for the McDonald's that will pay you what you think that you're worth in that marketplace for you to make more money, you want to be able to do that. But if you don't have the ability to do that, you are essentially locked into that particular wage, which means that your ability to ascend is completely canceled out. And we're seeing that not just in the food sector, but we're actually seeing that in every sector where wages have been stagnant for the last 30 years, yet the cost of living is still increasing. So we talk about affordable housing,
don't you be pointing at me over there.
Well, no, because that's why affordable housing is such a big issue, because you can be working 40 hours a week and be locked into a low wage that you cannot support yourself or your family. And that kind of income inequality and the calcification of
there you go with that Salim stuff. Calcification. Bring it on down.
The being locked into poverty to where you cannot hope to ascend, regardless of, like, the city just increased the minimum wage again by $1, $12 an hour. But is it keeping up with the cost of living? These kinds of rulings are making sure that you can never catch up.
Let me ask you a question, because our social media question of the day today was, what age do you leave your kids home alone? Do you think that how much you get paid is a factor in whether you get child care or leave your kids home alone?
Yes. I mean, if you can afford, I think so.
But what if it's your neighborhood though? What if you live in a bad neighborhood?
Whether I would leave my kids home alone or
Mm-hmm.
If I could afford child care, I would get child care. If I had kids that I had felt were responsible or raised them to be responsible.
But what if they're not responsible, but you got to go to work? And
my kids aren't, so come on, that's not going to be the case.
You're like, I'm a Mara in you. You better get your butt up out of here. Look, it's the Talk of Chicago 1690. We'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show.
So, but I think that one of the things that we talked about this morning, I mean this not like even in a facetious way, but like, I don't think that people understand in some cases when people leave their kids at home alone, it's by necessity, even if they're 6. Right? And if you ain't got nobody to watch your kid and you got to go to work and the kid is 6, you got to do what you got to do to get that kid prepared.
And people understand how expensive childcare is.
Childcare?
To have 1 or 2, don't have 2 or 3 to take them to daycare. It's
Amar.
Sometimes people might as well quit their job.
There are people that...
I got to interrupt. Amar, you want to knock this out here because he's got to leave right away. And do his promo.
Okay.
So we need to do some work.
See how the man be doing us?
I know.
We work here. You guys are just having conversations.
Oh, okay. You said, we're just, okay, tomorrow morning we'll see if we work.
Excuse us.
It's tough out here. It's hot out here for a pimp. I'm not a pimp though. How y'all feeling today? We had a good show. I enjoyed talking to you all today. I hope everyone had a great day. Take a moment, share the broadcast. Damn, you freestyling? Out of touch, out of touch, out of touch, out of touch. I'm out of touch. I'm out of touch, but I'm out of my head when you're not around. Whoa, oh, reaching out for something to hold, living in. Sorry, y'all. Strings, broken hearts is all that really matters to me. Too much. You're out of touch. I'm out of touch. But I'm out of my head when you're not around. Whoa. Oh, oh. All right, y'all ready? We about to rock it on out. So when don't neutral to where it sees the chain, train, broken hearts, swim to the top. Oh, I said, wish it mattered too much. Yeah, growing love, it's all really matters to me. Too much. You're out of touch. I'm out of touch, but I'm out of my head when you're not around. You're out of touch. I'm out of touch, but I'm out of my head when you're not around. Oh, oh. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I am your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man Charles Thomas as well as Miss Amara Inya in the studio. Charles, great show once again. First of all, this Father Flager thing, I gotta just go back to it. I want to make sure that all of the audience is clear. That I believe that Father Flager is a dynamic leader in the city of Chicago, spiritual and political. And I do believe that at this point, there is nobody that is more influential in the black community politically right now. That's not a politician. But I want to make sure that there's no shade to Father Flager, because his work is what got him the title. But I do think he's the man right now. Charles?
Well, I think he's the man when you think about the bottom up and representing black folks who are not being represented by their elected leaders. I mean, there are other powerful black people. They just are not doing the job that I believe they should be doing.
Give me one.
We heard from the Metropolitan Planning Council the other day that 70% of black families do not earn a living wage in this region. Right? We heard that, didn't we, from Alden? Mm-hmm. Smith?
Lowry,
I'm sorry. Those people are not being represented by our elected officials.
So who is the influential besides Father Flager? Who are the top downers?
Nobody. Got Father Flager right now in this moment? Absolutely.
Who are the other people in play?
The other people in play?
As the most influential black folks?
Surely. I mean, we have elected officials. We have
who we got?
County Board President Preckwinkle.
No elected.
No elected. There are some black business people who aren't necessarily dealing in this level. I mean, I don't want to get into naming people.
Well,
there are some black people.
I would say besides Mr. H, besides Mr. Higginbottom, I don't know too many black folks that's in the wealth class that's fighting at the forefront for black folks.
I think Willie Wilson is certainly fighting for black folks.
Oh, I give Willie Wilson that. I get that.
There are others who own investment in the investment world. John Rogers certainly is rolling. Jim Reynolds is rolling.
But they ain't moving nobody. Who they moving?
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, they're not necessarily dealing with that 70% of black people in this region, according to MPC, that do not earn a living wage.
Got it.
Nobody's representing them right now, and Father Flager is out front. My concern, and I'll repeat it again, is that what we're gonna get out of this move are more social programs and more dependency, and no real effort to uplift and get those people, or more of those people, to the point where they're earning a living wage.
We gotta stop using pronouns, because it's not those. Well, we gotta check our pronouns.
Those people of our people who are not earning a living wage. I'm not getting caught up in all that semantic stuff. You know who I'm talking about. Black people who are not earning a living wage, who were described by Alden Lowry to us. They are not being helped by anybody in the elective office or in the business world.
Amara. Well, so the question right now is, if it ain't Father, is there anybody more influential in the black community right now than Father Flager? As we close. She got you okay. And so black folks, as Amara thinks about that, I just want to point out that we got some work to do, right? We have to make some personal and internal decisions. There is no knock on Father Flager at all for what Father Flager does. I can't tell him what to do. We can't tell him what to do, but he is actually taking action. Who else is out there that is taking action? But again, my question is, what is the action and what is the outcome? I'm with you both. You know, I say again, black folks love emotions. And I think that we had our emotional quota satisfied on the Dan Ryan. Now when we get down to the brass tacks, them boring land contracts, right? Who's there, Amara? You still thinking?
Well, I mean, hopefully more of us will be there. I mean, there's some who are there, but more of us need to be there, and we need to put more value on the other aspects that are necessary to move things.
It's boring, though. I'm telling you, it's boring to look at contracts.
Can I tie something else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tie something else in as well. When we see the United States Supreme Court taking this hard turn to the right, we already know the executive branch of the government has turned to the right. The Republicans are dominating both chambers of Congress. We are going to have to come to the realization that we're going to have to take care of ourselves. It's just too obvious now. The signs are everywhere. We have taken a turn. The paradigm must change in the post-Obama era. It has to.
I'm with you on that. I just think the paradigm has got to change, but who's leading the change of the paradigm? And what is that?
Each one of us. Each one of us has to do something.
I think that and again, we got to make sure that we don't confuse something with anything. Because check it out, right? Dan Ryan was something, I just feel like it was something, but what does it give us back? So the somethings, because I feel like we keep letting people float with the somethings.
Each person can decide what that something is for him or herself, because they have skill sets they can bring back to the community.
All right. I think, let's see if we bring them back.
And you don't have to live in the community to do that. You in the physical geographic space.
I think, and I'm
scattered. We got to come back.
I think we got to have. My biggest concern is that we get caught up in the metaphysical. It sounds sexy, but we got to have tangible actions. What are the steps? Look, y'all, we're going to talk about it all when we come. You know what? How much time we got? It's time to wrap it. So, for Annette Flournoy in the newsroom, for Miss Sonia Escobar, the musical conductor of the Soul Plane, Amar, what you over there grinning for?
I'll be talking about gentrification on the west side.
Where at?
At 5701 West Jackson, the Columbus Park Refectory. This is the Leaders Network. We'll have folks actually from the City of Chicago Department of Planning will be there as well.
Oh, you can reach me
about the ins and outs of gentrification, what it means, and what we should be doing to plan around it.
All right, y'all. And that was Amara Inyan, Charles Thomas. And if they don't like it, you know how we do. You can tell them. May said, we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah. All right, y'all. Take a moment. Share the broadcast.
Good show.
Tune.
You're not going to have Father Flager on.
I talked to Father.
He's called in a couple of times in the last week.
Father Flaker, he responded on my Facebook page yesterday. Yep. He was like.